Just getting the second estimate for Q3 GDP coming through 5.2% versus an estimated 2.1%. Again, this is just a second estimate again for Q2 GDP here coming out 5.2% versus 2.1% expected. So much, much higher. 2.1 on the previous as well, much, much higher than expected there for that reading. We also got the goods trade balance there, negative 89.8 billion, a little bit higher than the expected negative 86.8 billion on that. Retail inventories, ex-autos, negative 0.9% versus negative 0.4% they're expected. Wholesale inventories downside as well. This is a quarterly PCE number that we got there as well. Core PCE prices Q2. The second estimate there, 2.3% versus 3.7% expected there. So across the board, beats on all that data coming out at 8:30 here. We are expecting a little bit more to come, not only later this morning with crude oil inventories, but we'll get the actual month-over-month PCE number tomorrow morning at 8:30. More Fed speak to come later in the day today. Fed's Mester I saw on tap. We'll also get the beige book at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The beige book, just an overall general look from district Federal Reserve boards at economic conditions in the U.S. So it can sometimes move the market, but typically not a huge event. That's coming up again at 2 o'clock this afternoon. A whole bunch of things moving around once again this morning. GM, one of those. Huge move here on a buyback up, yeah, almost 9%. Choking on that 9% even. Apple ending their credit card attempt with Goldman Sachs. See if some other bank will step in, I'm sure, to take on that. CrowdStrike reports. We get BILI today as well, so a ton of things moving around. It's Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. Tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, just saying to Sharif here, a second estimate on Q3 GDP there again, much higher than expected, 5.2% for Q3. So we'll see. Obviously, we'll get the actual number coming up in a few weeks from now, but still heading in the right direction here as far as economic growth is concerned anyways. Again, we get this quarterly PCE number as well. Also a little bit tighter than expected there, 2.3%. The actual month-over-month PCE number coming up tomorrow morning that the market will pay much closer attention to. So we'll see how things play out here for stocks across the board. That's how GM is looking right now, as I mentioned, up huge on this buyback. We did get an initial move. I guess it actually went both ways. Downside first off, we went higher, and now we're kind of back to where things were. But still, positive on the morning for the overall market here. Some continued rumblings in the background of, when we're going to get rate cuts instead of, if at this point. Coming off those comments from Waller yesterday, if you missed it, Fed's Waller is saying we're there. They've done enough to get inflation to get back to 2%. It's just a matter of letting things kind of cycle through the overall economy. Worth mentioning, obviously, everybody aware at this point, but Charlie Munger passing away late yesterday. I mean, 99 years old. Everyone expecting it to happen at some point. He was less than a couple of months here away from the 100th birthday, which was January 1st.
Yeah, he shares a birthday with Adair, January 1st. I was kind of hoping he'd hold on to that, but such is life. 10-year down. Brendo, I woke up this morning, found the 10-year below 4.3. It's 4.245 is the low. Obviously, that has a lot to do with how the Fed is going to deal with interest rates, because the bond market's been doing its work for it with elevated rates. Not so much anymore. We'll have to see how what goes on. But yeah, lots to talk about today.
Yeah, more data to come, more Fed speak to come later in the day as well. So we'll see how things play out here on a Wednesday, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. And you know what? I mean, you celebrate a successful life like that. I mean, it's like 99 for Charlie Munger. We could all be happy, to sort of to live that long. And he'll be missed, I'm sure, by family and friends like anybody would be. It was wild. It was a wild ride to always be able to learn sometimes from those conference calls. If you ever listen to a Berkshire call, and sort of the way they described their outlook on things. Like sometimes it would be so simple, but at the same time, it's like very thought-provoking. And then there'd be quips in there because sometimes they'd be pretty harsh about certain things that they found foolish or not, which is always entertaining. So I think that'll be missed. I always found it pretty entertaining listening to both of them and the way that they could sort of dissect their trade, like not trading plan, but their investing plan. Of course, Warren Buffett's still there.
No, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and the thing is that these two guys, out of all the investors, they're the ones that are always stayed positive. You know, like Bill Ackman will go long, and then 6 months later put out a piece about what to be worried about.
Yeah.
You know, I never heard out of, I mean, I don't know Charlie Munger as well, but Warren Buffett was always like, let's just buy all the dips.
And he looks for an opportunity to.
And buy the better names.
This is actually perfect time for the Ackman comment because Bill Ackman is now calling for rate cuts in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's March. It's supposed to be March.
Yeah, so I mean, like the market's been thinking that, but I mean, I think it gets noted because he's the guy that I think he sent a tweet out and basically that ended up being like the top of rates or the bottom of the bond market.
Yeah, he was getting out of bonds.
But there's a lot to get to today, obviously. Any day where we're talking about GM in double digits is, you know, you're in a bull market when, and we're also talking about Foot Locker and potential double digits. Like those are two stocks which have not been going well. So when the moves start extending to the GMEs and the GameStops and the GMs and the Foot Locker, you know it's a good market.
I mean, Foot Locker got more of my money Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all this crap. Okay, yeah, here's the Fed rate tool. Look, we talk about this on the after show. Make sure you join me every single day as we go over all this kind of stuff. There's March. So there it is, man. It's 50-50 now if we get a rate cut in March. So that's what we're looking at right now. This is current rate. This is forecasted. But in January, you could see it's still, you know, stay the course, stay the course. So everything is stay the course until we get to March where it starts to even out. And then May, you have cuts galore where it's supposed to be down 50% chance that we're already cut. And then another 25% that we go 50 points off the current level, right? So these are all going to get adjusted as we go forward. But yeah, man, I think global rate hikes, that cycle is now finished. So let's wait to see that. That could be bad, could be good. We'll wait to see what's happening. GM, $32. I was saying that this is the first time ever, and I'm getting the sticky note done, that I think GM's ever been on said note. So I'm pretty proud of that. We will be looking at General Motors all day today. So back over to the desk.
It's impressive to see that May fully priced in, that there's going to be a cut now as soon as May. I mean, we've been talking with Frank over at IG about that over the past couple of weeks, and he was echoing that again yesterday, you know, fully priced in as far as the market is concerned that we'll get a cut as soon as May. Here's the VIX, meanwhile. Shout out to our friends at Benzinga. Back to lows as well. So as we see, as the market, you know, starts to go back to the upside, volatility comes off, volume typically dies down here a little bit. I wanted to bring this up in the sense that we haven't had, if you go back to last year specifically, December was kind of mixed. There was a bit of a sell-off and then we rallied into the end. But we haven't had a full-blown, quote-unquote, Santa Claus rally in a few years. So maybe we're setting up to have a pretty good December here.
Yeah, I've been saying it. It's been a November to remember, especially for the longs, and especially if you're in the Mag 7. We'll have to wait and see how we close out the year. One more month left. Tomorrow's the last day of the month. But to build on what Brenda was saying, with the depressed VIX levels, we've had very low VIX levels before and good market inclination. Look at 2018. Just chart that. I was looking at that yesterday. Periods of 2018, periods of 2017, where the VIX was in the low double digits, which we had a decent market moves those here. So we'll have to wait and see if we can handle a low VIX print and continue to gradually increase.
Yeah, as Neil was mentioning there, when the GameStops and AMCs of the world start rallying once again, everything is fine. Here is the list, or a few names anyways, of interest today. Workday, there it is. Yeah, GameStop, huge move yesterday, obviously up 10%. AMC up about 4%, just because. OKTA, NetApp, BILI, a few others moving around so far, guys.
Yeah, a lot moving around today. One name that's actually moving that I didn't see on that list, but for any sports fans out there, which I think there's probably a few, hey, we can talk a little bit of sports and actually have it matter to the markets. Like the Adelson family buying Cuban stake. Don't worry, he's still going to have control. He's still going to be able to run the Dallas Mavericks, but having to sell 10% of their shares in Las Vegas Sands to purchase the Dallas Mavericks. So LVS is down 4.5% on that. And this is a stock that was, I mean, look, it wasn't on a huge rally or anything along those lines, but you understand that this, of course, there's no fundamental reason other than generating the cash for this sale. So when this $2 billion gets sold, you think that's pretty much it. Will it hold on to some support? I'm just looking for places where this can bounce, right? Like the market sort of digests, okay, we're going to be selling, the sell's going to come in, where do we reprice the stock, and where does the support come right back? That's the first thing I'm thinking about. Not like, oh my goodness, you've got a short Las Vegas Sands. I'm actually thinking almost the other direction. It's got a nice little bottom here at 44. I don't know that we test that. 43.5 to 44 to be a little bit more precise. It's entirely possible it's already made one at 45. So those are two levels. I mean, the 43.50 to 44 area, if it gets down there, if it tests that 45 at the open and that holds, I'd look for some long setups at that price as well. Like, this is the case of, it's not like when Elon was selling and then he's selling more, and then you had to be worried about, well, how much is he going to have to eventually sell, because these chunks would come in and put pressure on the stock. In this particular case, it's just one chunk. When it's done, it should in theory be done, because it's just to buy the Dallas Mavericks, which, by the way, are having a pretty good year. So all those people that didn't think Luka and Kyrie would be able to play together, I guess they were wrong. For now, it's early. You can never really tell till the playoffs in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly. You never know what's going to happen. I'm pretty excited to trade some GME today as well. I mean, this stock here should be able to go even higher than where it is right now. I'm looking at this $16 level. We've bounced our head up against it a couple times. It's on the sticky note. I think it's a good opportunity. I don't know. There's going to be opportunities in this market, but this hold down here at 14.50, I almost feel like going long right now, a small amount of shares, might be a good play as well. But again, if it breaks its 14.50 for now, I think you want to stay away. But I don't know if this can base out. Yesterday we got going there, based out early and then bumped through 12 and then, was never really looked back. Did have a little bit of a swoon here down to VWAP in the midday, but it held that $13 mark. So, right where we are right now, I feel like this is pretty fine. I tweeted out yesterday this chart. If I can just find it 1 second. I should be able to find it. I didn't tweet out too much there. Here it is right here from yesterday. And again, we talked about this on the market. Like, if you want to look at cool things like this, make sure you join me. It's every single day between 4 and 4:30. We're going to be looking at what happened during the day. Like, there it was right there. You had this huge move up, then it pulled back right into this $12 level, and then now we're right back at that level again. So you're down 90%, right, in 2 years basically, right? And this was, again, it's been split adjusted, so we know the high was 500 and something, so now you're looking at like 80 something bucks right there, all the way down to the 33-month low, and now it starts to bounce back. So I would say if there's any stopping here, it could be somewhere in this $25 area, which would be, I mean, if GME goes to 25, then I feel like those of you that maybe made a mistake last time by not selling might do it there. But I don't know. I'm also holding stocks that are down 95% as well. So I don't know what the plan is going to be here, but let's see what happens with GME. And to think it can't go there would be ridiculous. In September, right, we were at $18. So, I mean, it's no problem to get back to that level. I don't think there's any catalyst behind this other than what we're reading on social media. So I would just say tread lightly here. But if it takes 16, that could be a YOLO moment.
A couple things to be aware of here this morning. I saw a couple of people mention this VVOS, little one moving around. An FDA approval, in fact, for a sleep apnea device coming through for VVOS. So that one's relatively low float, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's just under 1 million shares. So 994,000 shares for VVOS. I want to mention this as well. We're green right now. This is the dollar. Dollar's actually green right now with yields downside, so trying to bounce a little bit, but huge move down. Obviously, you got to go back to July to find the last time we were at these levels for the dollar. There's NVIDIA trying to curl back to the upside, up 1% already. Some of the chip names were a little bit weak yesterday. 174, meanwhile, for this VVOS, trying to hold on to $12. Again, under 1 million shares there for that. A few other things. We're going to get into GM, obviously, and Ford, I saw, was up on that. Palantir having a nice morning. I mean, a ton of different ways we can go here.
Yeah, look, I don't know how I feel about this GM thing. With the amount of cash that they're going to need to be able to expand into electric vehicles, I don't know if it's the best idea to be doing a buyback program right now. Clearly, this is more investor focused to bring money back into the company because a lot had fled during the UAW strike. I don't know. I think she's walking a fine line here, Brendo. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Yeah, they're obviously going to take some sort of a hit as well for this cruise mess at some point. We'll see when that comes through. But Sean, you were mentioning Foot Locker, also back to highs here, up 12.8%. JD Sports up on that as well. So some of the sporting names, retailers anyways, getting a bump on FL's move.
Yeah, it wasn't. I wasn't really expecting that. We've heard about Foot Locker being kind of like dead in the water there, but I just feel that if they can sort of revamp, like I just use the app, obviously. Like when I'm in a mall, a nicer mall, you know, you go into Foot Locker, and it's really actually. I like the stores. I think they're well laid out, and they're not huge. They don't take up a lot of space. At least some of the ones in our sort of malls around here. I'm sure there are superstores that are there. But look at the daily. I mean, it's like we just used a basketball reference. Ball don't lie. Like $17 held over and over again, then $20 held, and now you're up to 26 again. So I don't know. This seems like a decent move here for Foot Locker. You're banging your head against this $27, $28 mark. Better Q3 performance, that kind of surprised people there. I like it. I think there's a good chance here. What is the short float, which is probably part of why this is going up? Yeah, so 13% right now. Yeah, it's been so hit this year. When the market's virtually at all-time highs, we just talked about we're 2 or 3% away on the NASDAQ, and I know Foot Locker is not really a techie name, but I think there's an opportunity here. I would still think it's a short, or you might want to cash out in and around this $30 mark. I don't love retail, but this name's working, and like I said, it got some of my money. I like Foot Locker, but at the same time, it's like you open up the Foot Locker app, and then you open up the Nike app, then you open up the Adidas app, and then you open up. So it's like you're just comparing prices, and that's going to be a hard business, especially when you're all selling the exact same thing. So I don't love the business. I like the store. I like the quarter, and I don't like the stock.
It's hard to imagine. What's interesting is we were just talking about Berkshire and Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, and it's like if you don't get it, you don't have to get it. You don't have to like it or buy it. And to me, Foot Locker, I don't see 10 years from now. I don't see 20 years from now. I'm not really sure how this one pans out. However, we're here to trade, right? So it's got the short float, it's got the structure of the move to the upside. Now, if you look at this, it's pretty obvious the consolidation after they got destroyed in May, right? You got a 28 top, you've already taken out the 24-3 bottom. You're obviously a lot closer to resistance and support at this particular previous support at this point, but that's also the breakout price. Anything inside that range has to set up some kind of different trade, like a stair-step pattern, something I can join into, because I'm either wanting to trade off of 28, which to me feels like a good fade zone. If I see short setups at 28, I'd be looking for them. I don't think at this point the notion of getting something in the mid-24s makes no sense. Like when I sat down, that seemed a little more possible. Now you're already bouncing another dollar higher. So I think there's some trades here with some big, obvious levels that are coming into play. When you start filling in these wide gaps and it gets to the periphery, you can look for those key levels to trade off of. But you look at this, and then I'll look at, here, we just had the daily chart of Foot Locker. And then you have a look at, there we go. You have a look at like Nike as well. And both pretty decent stair steps up, both sitting right on very large resistance. So in Nike's case, you can kind of see this 111 that just stands out like a sore thumb. You also have the 200 period SMA sitting at about 110. So, this stock, if this gets through 111, that looks like a potential breakout where you just saw a breakout there in Nike. And that could happen. That's a dollar from here is not impossible today in this bull market. So this is one that's setting up for a break as opposed to trying to find ways to chase one in Foot Locker. I don't know.
We're going to mention crypto quietly here. Market's kind of melting higher. Crypto also melting back to highs, recent highs anyways. Early on this morning, we got back above that 38,500 level. It is pulling back a little bit right now, but still holding above 38. So, yeah, here's Mara up 1%. Some of the equities related here benefiting today.
Yeah, and Mizuho giving Coinbase a much-deserved upgrade, $35 price target. It's at $125 right now. Yeah, that's up from the $30 price target it had before. Make of that what you will. Let's have a look at the chart, though, here on BTC, because we are coming into that critical $40,000 level possibly here, where we did have resistance before. Look at what we did in May 2021. 40 was definitely a bit of a top there, and then it acted as support. So coming into important levels.
Yeah, not much, I'm just noticing, not much energy or volume behind that, but so far so good, guys, for crypto today.
Yeah, it's been on a great run recently. You want to see a reclaim of some highs. Like, that'd be nice. You step it up. I want to see a run at that 40,000, like make a run at that 40,000 again. But you just talked about Coinbase in the afternoon was really trading Mara as it was looking to continue a breakout that happened through $12. It bounced off 12. It was consolidating off the top, looking for like a late day run that didn't happen until the aftermarket. But when you look at this one on the daily chart, it feels like it's got room to get to about 14 where you see obvious resistance. It's trying to punch through right now. 1275 would be the level. It's at 1250. So that'd be the next stop. It's a $12 stock. Like, that's a couple of percentage points from here to that 75 level. So I do like, on any continuation, looking for opportunities to get in. Where we had it in the afternoon, that 1225, 1230, I like that area. If it holds that at the open, it's generally where you close, maybe 8 cents lower. And if you can hold that area, hold out from going red to or green to red on any kind of a dip, I'm going to like it. But you got to watch Bitcoin spot prices while you're trading these. You don't want to get caught off sides in a big move. Sometimes you can get the benefit of a little bit of a lag where you'll be breaking out a key level, even on consolidation or like a double or triple top or something along those lines when Bitcoin's already gone, and you can get a little bit of a lag trading this. Not often, but every now and then it does happen. So I'm actually looking at Mara today. Coinbase is, I think, $9 or $10 away from a double up this month. So great run for that name.
Yeah, shout out to Ron and everybody. You guys know we talked about Mara. I gave you this stock yesterday off the open, so shout out to Ron if you had that. And all I was saying is that you could buy this 1150 where we were opening and then using 11 as sort of your base for a bottom, right? And so, that worked out perfectly fine there yesterday. Here's 11. That's where the 200 period is. I don't think you're not going to dip into that. But yesterday, it really made a lot of sense. We were opening up at this top. So we talked about Mara breaking that level and then off to the races. So congratulations, anybody that had that one yesterday. Great play, not super easy because you have to watch Bitcoin. But at the same time, guys, I would be like, if you're pushing the long or like initiating a long position up here in Coinbase, I think you're making a mistake right now. Now, I don't know where this name's going. I would have thought it was a mistake at 120, and then it ripped up to 130. It's just, this is a parabolic move. This is up now 30% in 6 days. So I don't, it's not earnings related. It's nothing. How offside is the street on this stock? We just had a perfect example right there. The price target was $35. It's just like everybody is way off on this stock. I feel like traders missed the boat here. They had to buy it up. And when FOMO's in a name, I feel like there's only a few places that this could go. But again, it's still very depressed from its highs, man. Its highs was 360, 370. So you could get back up there. That was during the hype. That was when Bitcoin was at 65,000. They actually IPO'd pretty much as soon as Bitcoin was at 65,000 was their IPO. There it is right here, 370 was that high. You could see nice little dip down. You're gonna see it get there anyways. So there's their IPO time. Like look, April 1st, April of 2021, okay? So here's the Bitcoin chart. So let's go over to Bitcoin right here. Here's April for Bitcoin. This is when Coinbase IPO'd. You know, so obviously you're gonna get a swoon down, and especially since you had Silvergate, you had FTX, you had all these disasters in the market, plus you had coins falling to nothing. Hello Luna, hello all the problems. Apparently there is no problem with Tether, but they went through a thing there. So, I mean, here's Coinbase basing out when crypto based out. You know, crypto was down to 16,000 in January. It's only up 140% this year. So look what Coinbase is. Coinbase is $30, let's say $40 bottom, okay? Even though it's 33, you know, up to 130. So you basically have $90. It's a triple from the bottom. So I feel like it's a little overdone, but if you want to still hold it, I think this 150 area here could be something. I don't think it's running on valuation or anything right now. I want to review the quarter. Was it really that good? But anyways, that's my little take there on Coinbase. I hope you enjoyed it.
All right, let's get some, speaking of, analyst moves for you to kick things off, upgrades and downgrades. Zadara has that over at the screen.
NetApp up quite significantly, up almost 12% after an upgrade from TD Cowen. Avalon Bay as well was an upgrade from JP Morgan, trading a little bit higher as well. Talon Energy getting an upgrade from Support Research. And last but not least, Tuya with an upgrade from Morgan Stanley, up about 10% right now. In terms of downgrades, Jefferies has downgraded Airbnb. Volkswagen with a downgrade from JP Morgan Chase, currently trading pretty flat though. We also have Hershey's getting a downgrade from Piper Sandler due to concerns about cocoa. And last but not least, we have the Carlyle Group getting a downgrade from Evercore ISI, guys.
Look who we got right here, right now.
Randy's in the house.
He asked us for coffees, and I said, yes, please.
Always a yes.
And then I noticed Volkswagen. Get that mic. How's the mic sounding there, Fabian? Let's. Are
we good?
Always on our
testing.
He's always on us.
I saw Volkswagen there. I'm going to call up VWAGY. Wow, that's right. Okay. All right. So here's the Volkswagen chart. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Here's the Volkswagen daily chart. As you can see, it's not filling in that greatest, but we've had a nice dip down here, Randy. And I was just wondering, aren't Volkswagen, what is it, the number 2 car maker in the world, or maybe it's number 1 by volume?
They fight it out with Toyota.
Okay, so is this not a name? I mean, look how depressed we are. We just bounced off the bottom. The thing about Neil and I always talk about some of these EV names, Polestar at basically all-time lows, Fisker at all-time lows. NIO just broke $7. We talked about that yesterday.
Almost.
Is this a name? Because I like Tesla, but I'm already in it pretty nicely. Do we buy Volkswagen?
I would hold on Volkswagen. They've got a lot of competition from China.
Uh-oh.
And BYD's in Europe now, and there's more coming. They've got some great products. Sales are slow. Inflation's still a thing.
Yeah, why is that ID4 not rolling out yet?
It's rolling, but it's not as fast as they want it. The Audi sales have not trickled, but they're kind of leveled off, a little bit flat. Give it time. Again, they've got a lot of competition coming. The cars are valued. There's some good prices here. They're not that expensive. Tesla's taking the lead, but BYD and others are making inroads to Europe. They're building locally now, so it's competition stiff. And again, inflation's still a thing. People aren't willing to move maybe from their ICE cars. I'll hang on to it for a couple more years.
All right.
Make the jump to electric. We'll see. It's going to take some time, but again, there's lots of competition in Europe. They have a lot more electrics than we do.
Do we compare like a Volkswagen to like a Ford? Like it has that reputation. It's kind of slow and steady.
I hope not.
Build quality's better.
Yeah. No, I just mean as like a stock. Like it doesn't have huge catalysts really.
No, they're a stalwart basically.
Okay.
You know, they've been around forever. The way this company's structured and the product lines they have out, it's a slow move. They were one of the first ones to move into one of the first ICE companies to move into the EV sector. They're getting there. It's time.
But if, like today, is there a single automotive name that you would buy today other than Tesla? Okay, there it is.
BYD. If everybody
there
heard that. BYD.
BYD.
I'm gonna get all my cannabis stocks and buy a mini camper van from Volkswagen and enjoy the van because I think that might be something rolling out pretty soon.
The van, I'm dying to see it.
I mean, I think it's going to be hilarious. Kind of like, oh, Cybertruck tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Cybertruck Day.
Are you bringing yours in, or when's the delivery?
Just bring it out back.
Go for a ride
We'll go for a ride out back.
Yeah, when's the delivery?
in the snow.
Yeah.
What snow?
Oh, you have snow yet?
We'll get snow at home.
Yeah, I know.
There was like a little bit of snow, like this
Yeah,
much snow.
about an inch.
Where we got the tree, there was some snow there.
Cybertruck's a big thing. It's going to be a pain production-wise, but I think,
Is it? Aren't they rolling them out pretty easily, or no?
You know what? It's different, the stainless steel and the way it's assembled,
Yeah.
and it's a different process from everything they've produced before. But production hell, Elon's got that sort of under his wing. So
They
we'll
make
see.
it work.
They're going to make it work. There's a pent-up demand, lots of money to be made. So let's get this out the door and see what happens. Coffee time.
Randy,
There
thank
you
you
go.
so much. Our resident automotive expert. I like that one. I'm going to ask him about Carvana next. All right, back over this. Oh yeah, by the way, Sharif, the stripes on the shirt. There's something wrong there.
They're not centered.
Yes. The chat let me know that last time.
Sean. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Go, Fabian.
There it is.
Okay, Sharif, look.
Yes, Sean.
So first of all, I only said that because you mentioned it earlier, and we know it's all love around here. But I have a complaint to give to you right now.
Okay.
So, like, I go home,
Uh-huh.
and my wife is like, "Yo, what's up with Sharif's Instagram?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And he's like, "What's up with all these thirst traps? I don't even know what a thirst trap is." And then she's like, "Yo, so I can't have that. I can't have
have a
another
decent
host."
idea what that might be.
you know what I'm saying?
Man,
So
I spend hours at the gym. If I'm not going to post about it every once
you
in
do?
a while, I mean, like, come on. And it's only one there, Sean. One thirst trap picture on there. I can't even believe I'm saying that on
I can think
the
of one person that wishes it was a few more.
you know what I'm saying?
I didn't
mean,
hear
it's-
that last part.
Huh?
I didn't
Yeah,
hear that
my
last
wife probably.
Oh.
All right, so I'll speak with you about this after, but congratulations on that. My wife has never seen a thirst trap post for me. You know, the only time she ever says that is like when I'm in a picture with you. Anyways, congratulations on your.
I like the shirt, by the way.
I love the shirt.
I think it's
Thanks, Neil.
it's
It's
unique
off
and
center,
stylish.
but you know, we'll just have
No,
to
it's
do
not.
that.
It's not. I mean,
It's unique.
It's what it's all about.
Yeah, memorable.
All right.
I just had a hilarious memory about the Cosby Show, but we'll talk about that.
What, and his sweaters, right?
Yeah.
Something to do with his sweaters, yeah. All right.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here this morning at 9 o'clock. Sharif's going to lead it off, as always, with a look at the market.
45.63, Brendo. That's where we closed off yesterday. The overnight high, 45.90 and a quarter. We're very close to that 4,600 level that we've been talking about. That takes us back to late October, early September. The overnight low, 45.62. What I'm looking for is a hold of the overnight low. If we move down, if we move up into 4,600, look for resistance at that level.
If you have not done so, very easy. Scan that QR code or go to watchlist.tradertv.live, enter your email address, and then you get that for free every single day. The watch list has everything you need to know on it. In the pre-market, GM. I mean, Sean, you were mentioning you don't think you've ever written down GM on the sticky note. I don't think GM, I'm pretty confident GM's never been top of the watch list either, but pretty impressive move here across the board so far this morning. Reinstated their 2023 earnings guidance, $10 billion in a share buyback announced for GM.
Yeah, really interesting here. Like I said at the top of the show, I don't know how I feel about this, but we'll talk about what the details are. So they're immediately going to receive $6.8 billion. They're going to buy back $6.8 billion worth of common stock. About 1.37 billion shares are outstanding. That's the float at the moment. The total shares ultimately repurchased under the initiative will be determined at the end of the program, which is expected to occur in the fourth quarter. And listen to this, for all those VWAP people out there, it will be based on the average of the daily volume weighted price of the GM stock. So if you thought VWAP wasn't used by institutions, there you go.
That sounds like something you can talk about on the midday.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Coming off of this disaster with this cruise, their autonomous division, I mean, we'll see what that ends up being. But it kind of feels like look over here, don't look over there, but we'll see.
I mean, it exactly feels like that. Cheers. I mean, the guidance, when they revised the guidance, it wasn't that good. So, that's what I'm feeling with it. I love that Sharif can get the education in right there. It's like, yeah, throw that VWAP note in there. It does look, it's an interesting, useful tool. I'm sure that will be talked about a little bit more. But when you look at what's going on with General Motors, and there was one time, I believe, was at the top of the watch list, but that was only because it was mentioned as an additional symbol when Ford was up there or something, and then like GM was like, yeah, you can also look at GM. That's about as good as it gets. But today, almost double digits on GM, and big levels coming into play. When a stock shows you, these kind of opportunities or these kind of levels, that's where you should be waiting for and looking. And 32 support to resistance to the current high is what I see. I think this is it feels a little bit overdone. When I sat down when it was at 31 was to be looking for the dips back into that previous second level, and that was around 30, 40. Now you're extending much closer to 32 even. So if there's a pop and fade trade, like it has to set up, like if you fail break of the high, if it's running above 32, I don't think you want to fight the short above that level because that's also a breakout price. But this is right where I think it looks like a bit of a fade. And I don't think you completely discount looking at other opportunities out there. Like I have an eye on Ford because Ford had that $11 level for so long that was support. And now it's breaking out in sympathy as well to about 1065, and it's going to get right into that previous resistance or support level for potential resistance, and it's the 50 period as well. So I think there's an opportunity, even if GM starts going and there isn't a pop and fade trade there, then I can just look at Ford from 11 to 1120 if it gets to that price. But I'm kind of feeling like this is a bit too much. And from a fundamental standpoint, increasing the dividend now, it just doesn't make any sense with all the capital expenditure that they need to be making to roll out, to go fully EV. They never even did the hybrid step. They took the biggest risk when it came to going electric.
Just responding to some trade requests. Fantasy football trade requests, of course. All right, so I've already, people want Herbert and everything. People want a lot of guys because Cole Kmet is TE4 also. So just looking here, $32 right there, and the Muth is now loose in Pittsburgh. So get ready for that.
Cost me a win. I benched him in my other league.
He's going to be huge. I think. I mean, it's just because they got rid of Canada. I'm just hoping that way because I literally own the whole Pittsburgh Steeler offense. So besides Kenny Pickett, hallelujah, I don't have him. But right there, $32. So I wrote it down. We were joking about it being on the sticky note. Thanks, Brendo, for that shout out. But yeah, I think it's a long breaking through $32. I mean, get this garbage out of here, like I always say. So there it is right now. All this garbage, sub $30. Get it out of here. Let's go higher right now. I'm gonna cheer on GM. I mean, I own the name. It's not like I've been buying any dips here. I haven't sold any of my Ford or any of my GM or any of that stuff as they've been really getting crushed. I just feel like, this is a name where holding the bag, I think, might eventually pay off. I just could see a slow grind higher as they right the ship, but I don't love the name. We just talked about GM. We just talked about EV names and car companies, and we didn't even really bring up Ford or GM other than to compare them as kind of flat stocks. So look, this $32 level, you're not going to see a better daily chart, in my opinion, than this potentially breaking here. It could be a short, could be a long. I would just say, wait. If it takes $32, we saw this happen to me yesterday on a firm. We punched along a little bit too early, paid for it, then got it late. I could see the same sort of thing happening right now on GM. I put on the sticky note also a $30 dip buy. If we get anything into $30 just as a psychological level where the 50 period moving average is, I like that. And just look at this. Here's $30 right here. So there's the break. Ideally, you'd like to come in today and this stock be at $29.50. So then we could just hammer the living you-know-what out of this long. But that already happened. Now we're going to run up to some resistance here around $32. But if you're a trader, you have to be active on this name, I feel like, today. You don't have to be. There's going to be lots of names. But if you're trading catalysts, GM up 10%, honestly, I'm going to go on Bespoke or something, or maybe a Derek can find this. Like, what's the last day the last time GM was even up 10%? You know, so I feel like this is going to be some kind of a day today as traders are going to get a little bit of FOMO. They possibly missed this bottom. And let's just see what happens here with GM. And I already have the bid to break 32 bucks, but I'm not going to do it. There it goes. I mean, I'm not going to do it pre-market. I just, you know, we battled back all day yesterday from making that mistake on, like, remember Affirm yesterday? Let me just go over this real quick here because I know we're running out of time, but, you know, it's a trading show, so we'll talk about trades. Yesterday, we had Affirm breaking through 30.50, okay? The problem is, this happened right off the open. It got to 30.30. And I said, hey, let's just take this break of this pre-market high and ignore the 30.50 that we had wrote down earlier. Well, it dropped all the way down to 29 bucks before eventually closing at $33. So was the 30.50 any good? Yes, it was. But wrong pricing early got me shook. You know, shout out to Mob Deep. All the way back down in here to 29 where we bought the dip and then had it go up. So I feel like that could be something similar to GM. Oh my God, I just saw 32.55. I was like, oh my God, did GM break already?
Nope.
But here it is right here, 32 bucks. I like the long, and it hasn't been wrong. It's just we don't have it yet.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to Apple here. Wall Street Journal with this story this morning saying that Apple's going to, or has essentially, called off their credit card deal with Goldman Sachs. This goes back to 2019 when this was first reported. And the plan is to unwind things over the next 12 to 15 months. As far as this deal is concerned, I'm sure somebody else will step in and take their place. It's just a matter of time. But I mean, not a huge story for Apple today, but kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, Goldman under David Solomon has been really cutting back on its retail exposure to retail clients. So this is no surprise. I was talking to Sean off camera about this. He's like, you know, they're paying 4% here in the savings account. That's costing Goldman too much money. We'll have to see how they do. You know, maybe one of these retail banks can actually pick up the credit card, Brendo.
Still a nice look on at this point, anyways, guys, for the daily chart here for Apple.
The first thing that came to my mind is in the recent like 13F filings, Berkshire Hathaway, which we seem to be talking about a lot, wanted to have an anonymity in a financial company that they're buying. So now when I hear this, it's like, I wonder if who Apple ends up going with for this credit card business ends up the same company that Berkshire was buying. I'm just throwing it out there. That would be, I mean, I don't know what you'd want to call that, but maybe they're in the know. It's obviously smart. I mean, clearly they would have gotten something. Because Apple's going somewhere. I don't know. I have no idea who's going to pick up this business. We just know that Goldman's going to be out of it. As far as Apple goes, I think Apple's fine. This shouldn't affect Apple. I mean, if they pick somebody, everyone's like, what the heck are they doing? Which I don't think that's going to happen. That would be an issue. But for this, I just see a consolidation before a breakout on Apple if we can get to some highs. So on the daily chart, you've got this 189, 190 bottom, and then about a 192 top, and we're chilling out in that range. In a bull market, you buy the support. If you're in a consolidation, you want to buy the support. You can sell the tops as well. I got these bad wicks in here, but I talked about that 189. That's essentially where this bottomed out after the sad news about Charlie Munger. So if we see that today, I think that's where your support is, 192 being the top of Apple. I don't think this affects, I mean, Goldman, you can have a look at it. It's actually up on the day on that news. Very, very slightly. I don't think that necessarily moves the needle. And similarly, it's been in a pretty range-bound trade. So Apple, range-bound trade that I wouldn't adjust much. Trade that 189, it's been pretty good support. If he gets up to 192, which a little far away, that could be a nice little sell. But like I said, if that's what Berkshire was doing, then kudos to them for making a pretty shrewd play if they saw this coming.
You know you have a great wife when you literally send her that clip about Sharif and she's dying. She's loving that clip. So I love you, Marissa. Thank you for that. And that's part of what's so fun about the show. You know, we don't add that excitement, Sharif. You know, but anyways, there it is right now. What are we talking about? Apple. Look, I mean, Apple plus Microsoft is 22% of the NASDAQ. I mean, you know, where else? Where else do you want to be right now than the NASDAQ? I feel like that's the right spot. I don't know, man. We talked about it on the podcast where the podcast I was on, that their wearable division is like, has as much revenue as Starbucks, Costco, all this stuff. I feel like this stock wins, and I don't know if I want to trade it today, to be honest with you. Pretty muted right here. Its all-time high is what, 198? How high did we get there? Let me just double check it here on eSignal. There it is. Yeah, 198.23 made back in July. So that's what we're looking at right now. I feel more confident that Tesla gets to 280 than Apple gets to 200, which is kind of strange because this is 5% away from that. Apple could sneeze and go up 5%. Like you could get an upgrade tomorrow from Morgan Stanley or someone like that, and this stock is gone. So, oh, by the way, man, ye of little faith right now, we did take GM. So I just took it smaller. So here goes GM. Nice move up. It just stopped at 23. I was actually waiting at 30. Let's take a 23 fill if we can on GM. Roll 20 cents early. You know, start the stacking on our day at 9:15. The market's almost open anyways. Liquidity looks pretty good here. We're long GM, as you can see at the bottom right now, offering in here. Hopefully we get that fill, and then we'll just move on from that as we go. So General Motors, nice little move to the upside here. We took the 32 break as we said we would, and then there's the fill. So let's see what happens now as we get filled there, I think at 24. So nice move to the upside here for GM. Let's see where we go.
All right, let's continue along here. CrowdStrike reporting as well, better than expected results for Q3. Also upping their Q4 and full year 2024 adjusted results. Maybe they can show Mercedes F1 team how to actually run their team. They're a major sponsor, but it's been a crappy year for Mercedes. Anyway,
that's the one where they have that big logo right beside.
Yeah.
You were telling me about that before.
Daily chart looks good.
Yeah. Let's talk about how they did. They beat on the top and bottom line. Revenue was up big, quarter over quarter, 35%. That's a nice look there. With respect to guidance, Brendo mentioned this. They produced about $786 million worth of revenue in Q3. For Q4, they're looking for 836 to 840. That's well above estimates, Brendo. So we'll have to see how they do. Beat both the top and bottom line.
Yeah, not so much for OKTA, but CrowdStrike a little bit better, guys.
Ouch, the dig at Okta. It's one of those where in zero-sum games you can always be sort of happy when the competition has bad things happen to them in a general sense. But you know, nasty what's going on with Okta. It's not a blue sky setup per se on CrowdStrike. It's very similar to Boeing, what Boeing did yesterday in terms of a setup. There we go. So you are breaking out. You're breaking out on the weekly. The daily chart's gonna not be pulled back far enough to see resistance, which is a ways away. You've got room to get into like the 235, 240 range. Just when I check this, I do want it back into the 215 if that was possible. But then this happened. You just broke the 220 level. So on Boeing, we were able to get the dip and then rip off previous support. Now it's just a matter of can you take the stairs to the upside on CrowdStrike. You can say all you want about it being expensive and and all that kind of good stuff, but you've been saying that about the space for a while. Truth of the matter is, all of the cohorts ended up being dip buy opportunities through this earnings round. In this particular case, you only got the dip buy in the aftermarket. There wasn't even any opportunity. This is just a bad dark pool wick. It did not go to 210 in the early morning. That was just that 8 o'clock overnight dump. So I don't think we see that 215. If we do, then it looks a little bit bearish were it to get to that price. So when I wrote my note this morning, we were consolidating and I was looking for the play on Boeing. I think that's out the window, at least temporarily, and I have to look off of the pre-market high. So it's setting up previous resistance into support, take the stairs to the upside. Just as on a related note, if you prefer trading or you're into sympathy plays or you just want to be looking at PAN-W, this had you had some good runs yesterday all over the place. This had a monster move in yesterday's trade and made its own breakout on the daily chart. If you're looking continuation plays, don't necessarily ignore this just because it happened to be CrowdStrike day. This is also in pocket after a break to set up for a previous high turning into support on Palo Alto.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Palo Alto as well. So, I mean, again, another one. Like, if you guys, I say this because obviously it's our stream and I want everybody to watch all the content that we have. But you really have to watch the recap show because, you know, when Palo Alto dipped down into this level, man, like we talked about this name. And I don't know who we had on, but we have basically Murderer's Row pretty much every day on the show coming through. So CMT's talking about levels. I take your questions on the show and everything. So every single night, when Pan W was dipping into these levels, man, we talked about buying best of breed. I've been in this name probably for 20 years, maybe not that long, maybe 10. And it's continuously breaking out. So with what we even talked about cybersecurity. I don't know how long this Russia-Ukraine war has been going on for. I'm not even sure when it started. Did it start in the spring?
2.5, 3 years?
3 years?
2.5 years?
No. The recent one, recent invasion. Anyways, as we go here, you could just see that it's a nice, huge move to the upside here. And I mean, why not just continue to work this stock? You know, down in here, January, 136 up to 280. So there it is right there. Yeah, February of 2022, I guess someone put in the chat.
Someone said 21.
I have to look it up.
No, 22.
February 2022. Okay,
so a year and a half.
Well, so exactly what we've been talking about down there. So we've been talking about buying these stocks for a very, very long time. I mean, Pan W, it's just been huge. I really like this spot. I think as far as, you know, buying the best names, you want to do that there. Cisco had a bad report. So I could see this name also, you know, coming back a little bit. It's already bouncing off that 46 level. I actually think this is coiling up to do something. I mean, look at Cisco down here. This is probably a long, guys, honestly. Like, I'm just a little surprised that it hasn't gone with the NASDAQ. So that's where I sort of head back and say, just stick with best of breed. It's Pan W. I like the stock.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to Foot Locker. If you missed it, we were discussing a little bit earlier, but back to 27 here, which wanted to zoom out onto a daily time frame, is a monster level, 27 up to 28 even for Foot Locker, but a bit of a surprise beat here for them.
Yeah, it's a good look. They beat on both the top and bottom line. The story here is really simple. It's been lesser consumer spending on goods and more on services, and lesser consumer spending in general as credit card balances rack up, and the consumer spends more on the necessities than the discretionary items. In addition to that, they've really relied on Nike, and Nike now is trying to really boost its direct-to-consumer business through its own stores and online. So that's kind of hurt Foot Locker, but good report.
Yeah, they were investing back into brick and mortar as well, opening 22 new stores, remodeling 36. They closed 14 as of October 28th, 2023. 2,607 stores, 190 franchise stores. I wouldn't have guessed that many.
I didn't even know they had franchises.
190.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like they have lots of different types of stores too. As Sean was mentioning, you got the very small and efficient ones. That the last one I was in was sort of that ilk, but. You know, it's been a while. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the overall business, but 13% short float is where that's kind of how you get here. The gap has been filled in, and the next gap, 28, is the top. So it's at 27, 26 right now. This is setting up for a run at that 28 level. If it breaks that, at that point you're talking about 17, 18% to the upside. It's just such a monster level up there that I want to be thinking about fade first. If there was going to be a dip buy, it would be playing it off of one of these levels back in the daily, like 25.5, 24.30. Those were the two spots to do 24.30 early, but 25.5 already happened. So you're much, much closer to big resistance on Foot Locker. And then we just talked about, not Blue Ocean, Nike. We talked a little bit about Nike being a potential setup as well. And this one on a 111 level, there we go. On a 111 level on the daily, looks like a pretty solid breakout in its own right. So good, strong move for them. It just hasn't broken yet. And it's got a little bit of, it's got higher lows all the way through. I could draw you a trend line if you wanted, and then you'd have this double top just around. It's about 110.80-ish up at this top, which is about the pre-market high. So, you know, Nike's on my mind here for a 111 test today. We could get that at the open. But as far as Foot Locker goes, it gets to 28. I'm looking for short setups. I think it's a little far gone for where I wanted to buy this move.
I didn't even think about Nike. Yeah, we were lucky enough to average into that Nike position as well, and it's trying to take out the 200 period on the daily. That's a good one. We already talked about Foot Locker a couple minutes ago, and it was just that, hey, you're really starting to go on the name. And like I said, you've definitely missed the bottom. We could return there. I'm not in love with the name. Like I said, I just feel like they're not unique enough anymore in the space. So I like the app. They have the good sales on. It's a good place for companies to get rid of inventory. But at the same time, yeah, like sneaker resales, I guess, have gone down a little bit in the last little while. But there's still a lot of hype around everything. So I like it. I just think that bump up 14%. Short float right now, only 13%. But I just feel that it's not bad. The shorts are going to cover. Have they already? I mean, I feel like bouncing off the 50 period here and really holding that $20. The shorts may've covered already, but if you get up to this $28, $29 level, which we're going to, I feel like it's a fade up here. So we'll keep Foot Locker on the back burner. It's definitely not taking up any space in my mind today, but if it starts to run and I notice, then fine. Like, why would I ever trade Foot Locker when I have GME on my mind here right now? We're already in GM. Tesla's an absolute beast that I want to trade today as well. I mean, there's just so many names that, oh God, I got to clean up this wick, that I really like. Foot Locker's just not on there. And just real quick, we just had the imbalances come out. I know we got to go back to talk about GME, but that's Ford. Sorry, I thought there's Foot Locker, but there's Ford with $1 million to buy. So we'll see if that does anything. Palantir's a buy. And a lot of bids here today with the NASDAQ up 0.6%. So right now you're seeing BABA with a sell. That's been really beat up lately. There's Carvana with a buy down there. There's Amazon. With a sell.
Yo, what's that 1.2 million there, Chico?
Is that Chico Foods?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Razor Ramon. And then also, I don't want to sell Amazon. We just bought it at 120 and it's at 150. So, oh man, nice move for all these names. All right, bang. All right, hey yo, Sharif.
Let's talk GameStop here to wrap things up. Now, if you forgot, Ryan Cohen run, GME, set to report coming up here in just a week's time or so. Yeah, big move yesterday. Obviously, day number 2 potentially setting up here. It was 10 plus yesterday. AMC up 4 plus yesterday. Here we are, a huge gap once again this morning.
Yeah, I just popped up 25 cents while I was looking at it. Guys, reports December 6th. A lot of unusual call options being purchased on this in anticipation of earnings. Retail traders looking to bet here that they're going to beat. So we'll see how they do December 6th. Make sure to check it out.
Guys, what do we think here?
Yeah, both of them in play. By the way, that Chico, they're being bought for $7.60. I do not expect movement out of that stock. 1.2 million in balance is not going to move it. It's going to move like 3 or 4 cents at best. GameStop, you saw the big run there yesterday. Just quickly, we have 2 minutes to go over some levels here. 16.25. It breaks that out. It gets nasty. Yesterday, you already took out that 14.40, which is where it finally broke the consolidation off the bottom. I think that's deep into the rear view. So 16 quarter is the next level up. The stock that on sympathy, because I mean, Sean already went over GameStop and we didn't really talk about AMC. AMC has this 715 level, which could come into play today. It just recently failed this level and you're getting right back into it. I'm looking at that 715 for a pop on AMC. It just hasn't really gone yet. You're getting a day 2 move out of GameStop, which is pretty much extended through, but this sets up for a 715 breakout. Again, it's another one of those reverse split specials. Reverse split, consolidation, look for the breakout. It already made 1 bounce. I always expect the next bounce to be smaller than the first. So in that particular case, you'd be real happy with a gap fill to 830 at this point.
I just want to say what's up. I don't know if you're watching, Alan, but what's up there? The owner of SneakerCon right now watching and talking to me about Foot Locker. So, okay, shout out to that as we run deep with that. Shout out to you, my friend. I still love GME. I still have the order to go long through 16. We talked about liking that level. Let's go. Let's see if it wants to go upside. This 1620 though, like, see? Am I doing this again right now? That 1620 actually looks like sort of a better breaker spot for that. So, all right, the 200 period's down here at 15. When the market opens, that'll probably move up a little bit as we get the volume coming through and better. it's not VWAP, as you're going to get more prints coming through and sort of, ramp this thing upside. I like the stock. I think 15 bucks. We'll see if it can hold that. We are going long on a 16 break, which is going to happen almost ASAP. What's up, the boring man? Yeah, I mean, I think it could go. So we'll wait to see right now. NASDAQ up 0.61. Tesla, again, I didn't talk too much about this, but it's on the sticky note. If you want to go find it at Trader TV, Sean, go now. Tesla down there to 244. We had the 236 long yesterday, dipped down. We took a 50-cent hit. Bad decision on that one as it ripped up another $10 from that. Uber, I also like the long on Uber, and I like the dip buy possibilities here in NVIDIA. So, man, we're here for you, and I'll hopefully be able to get some winners early.
Yeah, lots to look at here. Let's get the countdown on as Sharif jumps on through there. Dara in 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. One quick one for you. Rivian 1780, big level. Could be breaking that right away. This was in my note this morning. I want to see some buyers start to emerge. This is it at 1730. I got the AMC breakout, but that's 20 cents away on AMC. So we'll look to see if that one can go. Just want that to be a sympathy play. Like if GameStop goes, why not AMC? I can see all kinds of reasons why it would. Nike, potential there. There's a 111. It just took it out. Show me some buyers above. Is this open yet? Yeah, you know what? Nike's not open yet. I don't like taking breakouts on New York stocks if it's not open. I just want to see that. It's not specialist print, but you know what I mean. Once that's open, I think I'll go for it.
Okay, we're in, and I just punched in. I don't think. Okay, now GameStop open? No, so GameStop also not open. I just got long now. I just punched in a very small position because if we rip up to 16, I'll get something out early if it can get up to that level, and then we'll just play the long on a breakthrough if it goes. So right now we're gonna wait. GME not open. You see no big candles yet on that one, so we're gonna. Oh, there it is. So there's the big open right there. Opens with 3.7 million or 370,000 shares. GameStop now open, so let's watch it. We just bought 58s. Who knows where it's going to go? I'm waiting for 16 for that one. Tesla, of course, is open, and here goes GME right now. So never fear, guys. There it is right now. It's a quick 24-cent winner on GME. So sound the alarm. We're already in this one. Let's go, man. Here it goes. It just touched 80s. GME is now open and up 18% as we continue to go a little bit higher. We do. There it is. Yes, sir. We cash out 50 cents. Now let's go. GameStop. We're already on one now. Breaking through 16. Let's see where we go. It's GME time, baby.
Yeah, just as I kind of thought might happen, you got a bit of a lag there. GME broke the high of the day, and seconds later, AMC just took out its top. So I just got 16s on a 15 break on AMC. Nike did eventually open. It's now trading. If you punch in before the stock opens up, obviously you can have it. It's just a rule that I usually follow, but in this case, I don't want to chase it too far. I'm still looking for that 111 breakout. Foot Locker is the other retail name. The market is like screaming, and Foot Locker is at 28 even. So I'm looking for the over-under play here. It's showing some kind of strength above it. I'm seeing bidders start to jump in there, but I'm going to back off this one. I wanted to see weakness at that price. You don't have to take it if it doesn't set up. So AMC, it is trying to, when it gets to the quarters, that's where I'm going to take my first out. Oh, Tesla. Tesla breaking at 251. Where's my Rivian? That had to break. Yeah.
All right. We're just, honestly, we're already out of a third of GME as it went up 30 cents for us. So we got a good one. We're long at 8s, which is not a great fill, but we have outs up here, 20s, 30s. I think our best out might be 32 or so. But again, I want to try to see, now it's fading back out a little bit. I just want to hold this until it breaks 15. I mean, honestly, I told you we got out of a third. We're willing to obviously lose on this stock. So let's wait to see where it goes. GME right now trying to get up. So my stop is going to be at 15 bucks. Here it comes fading back out again, back down to the downside. So it's a good thing we got something out, but this was never going to be like a, well, it did have a chance to go. I mean, we got 40, like I said, 35 cents or whatever on that top take. Let's see where it goes right now. And here goes GM again, trying to break through 32 bucks. We already have this stock, but I'm a little more looking right now. I'll buy some more GMs as well, but I'm looking at GameStop. So here we go, GameStop, GM. We're just long some more here on GM. But so far, so good. Let's see if we can get it back upside right now. That's 20s. We could take a 20. We just reloaded some there at 8. But really, my eyes are on GameStop right now as we await for hopefully a move higher. We're stuck right now down 15 cents.
Yeah, I'm looking at, I just took a peek at GME. And if I'm using that as like a sympathy play on that break, I got the fill in front of the quarters on AMC there, but if I can get something else out in the teens, I'm going to go ahead and do that and just look to see where it goes on any kind of a pullback. It's still a decent breakout. It's holding in the money. The market is screaming higher. I just got Rivian as well. It broke out. Can't seem to get to the 18 level. I'm going to sell some in front of 18 as we're already, there we go. It just spiked to 18 even. As we go to the desk, we've got Adara.
Yeah, NTAP reaching a new 52-week high after earnings and some upgrades up about 14% right now. Pretty strong volume. Keep an eye on NTAP, guys.
All right, right now I'm watching out for, just quickly, obviously we're watching GameStop as well, but GM. So GM just went upside there. We did get that 20 fill. Like we mentioned, we went long at 08. It's at 20 right now. So we can get it again, hopefully, if it does go back up to the upside for General Motors. But it's just still dancing around. Look at this market, absolutely on fire right now.
Hey, Microsoft.
I may average a little bit in right now. I did want a little bit of a dip, more of a dip buy into GameStop. I was actually bidding 50s. I don't know why we don't have the fill down there, but we were bidding 50s, so now we'll just take a little bit more right there on GameStop, and everything's fine. We're under complete control right now. We're just waiting. If GameStop falls down, it's a risk I'm willing to take. Look at Tesla. I mean, Tesla... There it goes. We thought there could be possible dip buy. We talked about buying this yesterday. So if you bought it yesterday and didn't sell like I did, it's now $15 in the money. And then 2 weeks ago, when Tesla was all the way down here at 220 or whatever it was, I was saying that I think this can get to 280 by year end. So it's well on its way. Deliveries tomorrow, baby. Let's see what happens with the Cybertruck as here comes GME. We just got that 50 fill. So if we, like I said, if we break below 15 bucks here, the story on this stock, in my opinion, is finished for now because that $16 hit, we got what we needed from it, but now we're holding the bag. So it did not continue. So no continuation on that. We're having, a good month here. So to lose on this one would be fine, but we never want to lose. Let's wait to see what happens here with 15.
So I'm going to get to Rivian in a second, but AMC right now, there's sellers emerging a lot at this 720 level, like refreshing. 720, 721, like it gets to 21, 22, sellers jump right back in and take it back down into 20. If that can exhaust itself, then I think this can make another push into the upside, but I'm a little bit wary of that. Once that stops happening, I think I look for a re-entry here. I'd prefer if GameStop was going as well. I did get into Nike on an early dip. The market we're almost 1% on the NASDAQ already. This pullback in, I should have had that 11 break, but I didn't punch in because the stock wasn't open yet. It's just what I usually do. And then Rivian busted through that 18 eventually. We got our breakout and then dipped right back into the 1780 break on the 15-minute chart. It just took out 18, got to 1805. I think this one has a chance. I mean, Tesla's already going. These EV names have been beaten up for a while. For them to be joining the party here, there's so much room for a lot of these to be able to run. Foot Locker, there's your breakout. It showed some weakness off 28, but the second it pulled back in, it reestablished the bid off that 28 level. It has to set up for a short. You don't want to run through. You don't want to run into something like that in the wrong direction. It's a 13% short float. It needs to fail that level. As far as General Motors goes, it's showing some signs of weakness, but I'm not really getting any. When I have it up and I'm watching the tape here, it's rejecting above 32. Okay, now there's some selling just came into it. I was about to say, but I'm not really seeing the selling beneath it. And then the second I think that out loud, I see some sellers start to emerge. So I'm going to look for that pop and fade, which might have just happened. Try to get some 80s and then stop it out there just above that 32 level of Adara.
Yeah, SoFi moving right now up about 3.5%. Earlier this morning, it was announced that SoFi has selected blockchain as its first digital asset partner. Pretty strong volume, definitely moving to the upside. Keep an eye on SoFi.
Yeah, look, SoFi we'll get to in a second, but I want to get into this GE here. GM. That's how often we don't trade GM. Like, I'm not even saying that right now. I'm going to say GameStop. If you hear me say GameStop, I probably mean GM. If you hear me see GE, I probably mean GM today. It's just a force of habit.
I think like the biggest thing I'm.
But Yeah, it's a refresher at 80s, and you're not able to get any shares above the 80 price level. So I'm going to get in half at 78, and then if it comes back in to give me a better price, then I'll go for it. But this is an out just above 32. I'm not holding this to the high of day. Like, this was off the 32 level, so that's where it needs to work. Nike's starting to come back in here. I want to give this one just a little past the 111. 111's the breakout price. But I found myself doing that thing where I don't get the breakout because I didn't have my order set right at the open, and then I buy it on the dip. So I want to make sure that I'm getting out if it looks bad and then finding a way back into the trade. Because this market is certainly supporting strength, except for Microsoft, oddly enough.
Really? Okay, we'll have to
Microsoft down like $2.50.
We'll have to look at that. We are into GM. We're going to get out. Here it goes, 31.75. I was going to wait for 31.50 in order to get out of this one, but it's falling down. There's a little bit of size there on the bid. But that's, you know, that's it. We're done GameStop, man. We got 50s, we got 25s, so here we go. It looks like it wants to fade off that $16 level. So, again, looking at the stock, thought there was a good opportunity for this to rip. Whatever. It sucks, but here it comes. We're going to have to get out if it breaks 15 because after that, man, I don't know what comes after that. So, you know, a dollar move down versus a dollar move up, you know, probably, you know, in hindsight, I would do this again. So I don't have a problem with it. This is what happens when you're trading and you're taking risks, right? So, okay, right here, this is GM. So again, another name. I feel like we hit the market right here today, but some of these stocks just are not cooperating. GM right back in the 31.50. It looks like it wants to break it right there. This is kind of like the pre-market bottom. And again, remember, please just trade your own style, right? Like, we'll have severely different share sizes on different names. Sometimes Neil have more, I'll have more. So, you know, you got to be able to understand the risk parameters of what you're doing and, you know, watch out for key levels. Here comes GME. We are getting out. So if it breaks through 15, which it's going to do, then hopefully this marketable order doesn't get hit too far down. But here we go. Looks like we will get stopped out and slap a fail on our GameStop trade there. But we tried it, and trust me, this will not be the last attempt. But for now, not worth this name falling back in to 14s, and then I have to try to find a long. So no, we did this yesterday with the firm, and we got out, and then it ripped. So let's watch it here at 15 and just get stopped out once it breaks, and then we'll maybe try to catch a bottom somewhere here on GameStop. But I just, you know, that's 14.50 maybe, which might hold from this morning if and when we break through 15. Maybe that's a bottom to look at.
Oh, there's a bit of reversal
right
in AMC there.
There it goes.
There's a reversal candle in AMC. Oh, it was cruising. Like 2 seconds ago, I was just about to say, you know what, AMC's not following along. And now I'm just instantly out off that 77.10. I was trying to get I had to stop at the original breakout price or just under it 5 cents, but I was actually looking to punch just now as it was breaking down underneath 720. I got 730s, so it did look very, very good up top. And then you see that pullback start to come in. When it's a breakout trade, I'm generally wanting it to work right away. If it can hold and reestablish above 715, I don't mind the stair-step action either. Just going back over to Rivian, this is holding above the 18 level. I mean, if you've seen Tesla, like Tesla's obviously a rocket ship. Rivian got to 18.25 just there. I do want to find places to add. 18 is the 200 period moving average, so this one is at obviously a pretty key level. If it holds 18, I think you take the stairs to the upside with that as support. And then General Motors, GM there. I said General Motors to make sure I got it right.
Nice.
I know, it's whatever. I got a fill out, so at 31.50, there was consolidation in the pre-market at that level. Was able to get a fill there right at 60 even. If it pops back in and can give me those shorts in the 80s to that 32 level, that's where I want to get in. But sometimes it's like this. Get in on the wrong side of that Nike move at 111. If you like, it's happen. Like you like a breakout trade, it's a breakout trade. It doesn't always mean it's going to be a good dip buy. That's a timing thing. It could easily bounce from here. And then the fail has to do with the execution and not the level. It could still bounce off these pre-market levels, but what I did was get in early. And if I get in early, I want to take it out, acknowledge the mistake, and then move on to the next. You know, everything else has pretty much worked so far, but I don't know what's going. Microsoft. Okay, so the NASDAQ is up 0.1%. And you know what? Microsoft just sometimes Atlas has to shrug. And I feel like that's what's going on here today, where Microsoft was carrying everything and we're selling off. I don't know any story why this fell $4, but if you zoom out, which when in doubt, zoom out if something unexpected happens. Just yesterday, this was supporting the 380 level. It's a big level. So if we get another couple bucks, I think that's what I want to try to put on in Microsoft.
Yeah, I'm in it right now. I just want to see where we go. I mean, that is it's a nice move down. We'll try to sit here in Microsoft as well and see what happens. I mean, that 381, that little dip down right there. Again, it did happen. There was some wicks down here on that stock. I mean, it looks like the very bottom was 381.25. That's not that. Off east, right here. No, that's not it either. Anyways, 381 or so, 25 coming into play. All right, we're back into GameStop, foolish or not. It just breaks 15 there. So now let's see if we can get up to the upside. There it is. Okay, so now let's just kind of like build back better plan right now for our net coming through right now. So let's see if it can get going. There we are. We're long right here at 1501s. We'll take out some 20 cents right there. So far, so good on this play. Let's see if this now wants to moon for GME. What up, Adara?
DoorDash is moving right now. We were up about 2%, pulling back a little bit, but they've just announced that Best Buy will be the start of their collaboration with consumer retail as DoorDash is moving into that space. Keep an eye on Dash, guys.
It's hilarious you say that because that just reminded me about Uber. But Intel broke 45, so you can zoom it out if you want to. You should. 45 is a big level. We've talked about it before. You want to look for the next available trade. The next available trade, to me, is longs off the 45 level. Previous resistance turning into support. Uber, I don't think this was this on the upgrade downgrade board? It was on our...
It was on the sticky note.
It was on the watch list. It was definitely, I know it was on your sticky note, but that just bounced off of yesterday's close. So right in here, 56 and a quarter. I like this level down in 56 and a quarter. You're already making a bounce, but I feel like Intel just jumped on the list here. When Intel trends, you generally speaking want to join the trend as early as possible. So I want to look for a dip back into that previous resistance at 45 even.
All right, let's see if we can just take a smooth 50 right now on Microsoft. Let's go. Come on, let's do this one right now if we can get it. Let's spin it. Can we spin it? Can we get it today and spin the damn thing? There's Microsoft right now with 50 cents in the pocket right now. We're 40 cents in on GameStop. And yeah, I mean, who would have thought Uber 56 was a good long? Check sticky note, 56 long. I mean, the thing is like we just, again, watching GameStop miss the opportunity. 56.20 is probably good enough. I mean, that was the pre-market bottom. I guess that's from yesterday. The pre-market bottom sort of is right here at 56.35. I don't start my charts until 7 o'clock. So, that's, I don't, before then, unless there's something going on, earnings or something. But right there, 56 and change. Let's wait to see if the magic can happen there with this name. So far, so good right now. We did get, there it is. Are we going to get our first dollar club right now on Softy? We already went reverse dollar club on GME. But right now, here goes Softy. Nice call, man. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thanks, Neil, for bringing this up. It's Microsoft, and right now, and it is... So far, so good, man. My banger of the day, Microsoft up 75 cents right now from where we took it. So, hey, man, like I said, you can always mess something up. And I did that here with GME. Hello, my name is Sean. Hey, it's me. I'm the anti-hero today for GME, but we are going to continue to go one more time. You get over there, Sharif? Here we go. Let's see if we can take out 1550 now.
He's good.
For GameStop.
How do you eat that much?
Do this.
Sharif, I don't know how he finished that so quick, but he's eating it up like the market is eating up the offers right now. This market, we're 1% to the upside. Like, there's no way. I shouldn't say that. That's not what I meant. I don't think we're going to hold 1% if Microsoft doesn't hold green. I shouldn't have said there's no way both things happen. That's a wrong way to put it. Anything can happen in the market. This market should tell you that every time. But I don't think we can hold this kind of strength and Microsoft not be a part of it. I'm glad you got it. I've zoomed over to it and was thinking that 380 level.
Yeah.
But it just bounced so fast. I don't see why it should have been down in the first place.
It's a tough one.
It doesn't matter. Intel, look, it just bounced off the 10 level. It might not give you the obvious dip buy. So I'm going to try to wet the beacon here. If it breaks these quarters, I'm going to go for like 26, 27, if it can break those quarters out with a tight stop 20. Otherwise, I'm waiting for my 45 entry. GM is starting to pop back to the upside here, but I want to get to AMC because like I wicked out. Oh, here it is. And it's ideally, I want to see it stair-stepping up. It's got to break 725. It's got to break this stop to the upside. I don't want this trending down. That's a bit of a failed breakout look on AMC. I want to see it show some strength. With a squeeze name, I'd rather join strength than sit there anticipating it. Palantir, shout out to everyone that remembered that this broke $20 this morning. There was a lot to look at. There's a lot to look at, but Palantir above 20 just has me thinking 21. That's the way it goes with this stock. There is a $20 consolidation. It did the old dip and rip, and you can see some resistance there at 20.5. But if this comes back and shows us anything in the teens, I want to go for the dip buy on that one. I think next trade could be a reload in GME. See, I almost said GameStop again. But I'm going to be cautious getting back into AMC. It felt like some bamboozlement on that break.
Yeah, we got back into GME, so I'm probably right about that one. I want to say a big shout out to Talent here. Sean's commentary is golden, and like I said, it almost made Sharif choke, and then I had to go over there and revive him there. But thank God we didn't have to do that. This damn thirst trap of a guy over there. Okay, so right now GameStop. There we go again. Let's go. GameStop trying to go upside now. Let's go. Let's bring it back right now. We took that trade early. We're still gonna be down. Well, I'm most likely going to be down on this stock unless we really get going here on GameStop as we just build back better right now. Like we're getting that net going. Let's see if it can come back up. GM, right? Again, let's try to have a little bit here with GM, a little bit of patience, and see if we can get this. We're long here at 86. We didn't really buy the dips. The best dip we got was 75, which is why we have this average price. We've already taken profits, right? We busted to 32 first. We got out at 32.25. Then we took that fill at 08 and got some out at 20s. And there we go. We just got to fill up there at 98. So let's go, man. Let's spin it right now. Hey, guys, sorry. Like we're gonna wind up being 2 for 3, but that GameStop does suck. It's a nice trade here on GM. It's a gorgeous trade on Microsoft. And let's go see if there's some more news at the desk.
Unity up over 7% right now, continuing to run to the upside. After market yesterday, they announced they're looking to close about 14 of their executive offices to reevaluate their real estate footprint. Continuing to rise. Keep an eye on you guys.
I know one person in the chat that is all over that. Like that, someone asked opinion on Unity. I was like, it looks like a pretty solid breakout. And then tweeted out, courtesy of a viewer, this is a good-looking breakout in Unity. I'll get to that in a quick little second because it was a gorgeous setup. But I'm now back into GM. We said we take some more shares in the 80 price, so I did get my mid-80s. I'm giving it this 20 cents just above the 32. We took profit starting at 60s on the 80 short. That's where we started taking profit, so I want that one-to-one risk to reward on GM. That's how we're going to try and stay in the pocket here, just so the pocket is. Staying in the pocket is like staying within your expectations of the trade, which is your risk to reward. Now, SoFi is approaching the top end of the range, being this channel that we've been talking about for a little bit. 785 is the top. I think it has every chance to get there. 770 current resistance level on SoFi. I want to acknowledge how strong that stock has been, but shout out to anyone that spotted this on Unity. Wipeout bottom, consolidation, breakout. That's a great looking setup on a daily chart. So shout out to anybody that sees something like that. That's the kind of trade you want to be able to make when you can find it. I'm going to be interested in getting into this Microsoft as well on the way back in here because Microsoft, like we said, did some heavy lifting. Sorry for the wicks, but you can see the support down there in front of 380 from yesterday's trade. It's pretty clean and pretty obvious. Either it goes higher low or it retests that 380. Either way, I'm looking to get engaged in Microsoft myself.
Yeah, we're going to buy some more off that 380 as well. Let's wait to see where it goes. But right now, there goes GameStop. We just got a 50 fill, so that's obviously good as we're making back here, a little bit of what we've given up here on GME. So let's see if that can go. And then, of course, we're here, guys. There's GM with a nice move back up to the upside. We're long 78s here. I'm just getting more out. I just got some out at O's. My next offer now is 32.10. We'll see if we can get that and then higher after that as GM still has more room to go up to the upside. And this is what I mean, man. Just believe in your trades and hopefully you'll be able to to capture them. Sometimes I'm going to miss the prices, right? Like, look what GameStop's doing right now. It's 65 cents now, 60 cents, sorry, in the money, and we'll just take some more 60s out. So it's starting to go now. I feel that now that we're out of half, a little bit more than half of what we had, actually we're out of 60%, it's a 70-cent move back. So it's good, man. We made back a little bit of what we lost. Obviously, GM is 30 cents in the money, and Softy, we've already taken that 50, 60 cents or whatever it was right there. Let's see, was it 50? Yeah, it was 50, so we got out 51s. So 50 cents. The highest this ever got was 79. So we know who we are and how we trade. And what I mean by that is like, we're willing to hold this one. So it's a relatively weak name. And this is what I'm getting at with like knowing the style that you trade. This is a tricky long. Remember I said when Neil was like, yeah, that long was there, and I was like, yeah, it's a tricky long right now because it's under. But what's not underwater right now is this damn stock right here. Let's go GameStop. Nice little move back up to the upside. I'm offering 86s, and we just got it right there. Hopefully you are patient with me, guys. It's GameStop. Let's see where we can go from here. What up, A?
Just to be aware, Jamie Dimon is speaking right now saying that he has a quote-unquote small lawsuit with Elon Musk, so not Tesla specifically. Tesla is running up right now, though, so keep an eye on that and keep an eye on the Jamie Dimon speak, guys.
Interesting. Well, I mean, it's not test related. What's he suing him about? Just a couple of things. I took my out exactly as planned on GM, not GameStop. I haven't traded GameStop today. I'm only in AMC, which I am back into on some strength. It took out 32.05, so I got out. I'm trading off the 32 level. That's on the daily chart. You can see it hold significance here. If it breaks out the top, I think it's a good-looking breakout setup because it held pre-market support. But if it had failed, I would have been out if it got to 31 even. Back into AMC because it's showing me that stair-step up strength. So it held a higher low after getting out of the initial breakout trade. So I'm in the consolidation, looking to add and see if we can get to that high of the day. All right, the double bottom is a potential double bottom coming in Microsoft. I don't want to say it is a double bottom until we actually see it happen. And then there's Rivian. There was one chance to get a dip into 18. One chance, and then I didn't get it. Obviously, you can see there. I still just have the original 1785 that we're able to get earlier. So I want to get something on a dip buy. Rivian to me is something I would rather be adding to on the way to 19 even, or at least 1850, as opposed to taking out at these price levels. So good run there for Rivian. I mean, a huge run for Tesla. Tesla approaching the top of its channel at 255. If Tesla breaks this channel, it's been lower highs and lower lows since it made that top. If it takes out 255, a trend reversal on Tesla usually means a bit of a squeeze. Not in the traditional sense, but when Tesla goes, you know what I mean if you watch it.
100%. I mean, that's why, honestly, I thought Tesla had a 280 print in it, and I still think it does. And I think it might even come faster than we thought. There goes Tesla, nicely done to the upside. It's on the sticky note, but again, just like yesterday, we're a couple bucks off. This always makes a move. So I think that the idea now behind Tesla for me tomorrow and until something changes is just going to be, watch, like, instead of trying to call levels, like, because it doesn't really matter. You just got to watch out for the momentum. So, like, it went down there.
Yeah, you mean read the tape. Just read the tape.
Yeah, but reading the tape is great if I can get over to the stock in time. But it's more just like, go back to it maybe at 35, like, again, maybe at 935 or something. I mean, this move, unfortunately, guys, how about 931? I'm there getting, run over by GameStop and working on this GM trade, which is great. And the other thing too is I wanted to say, like, I know, GM will be a positive stock for me today, but part of it is watching the stock and then not going like all in, basically on your initial thought. You know what I'm saying? So like I wrote down here 32 longs on GM. So we took it twice, got a little piece out, but then you're never going to nail the exact level, but you definitely could nail the idea. And so this one drops down to 3150. Unfortunately, my out was going to be around here at some of these pre-market bottoms, so I didn't want to average in. But it's this saving grace right there that came into 3175 that is now giving me a 50 cent winner, and that's part of it, right? Is being patient, making sure that you hit the trades you want to and hit the right names. Here comes Microsoft. You guys asked me. I mean, 381 is where I kind of want to buy because that was the dip down there, but we don't have. This was a very, very, very much a starter position. This probably doesn't get real good until like 379, even a little bit lower than that on this stock. There's 375 on Microsoft, and you said about Atlas there, and I think that's true. Like the mighty can fall even faster than some of these other names, right? And so like right there, someone just bought it up. Like where I was bidding 381, so I didn't get that fill. But if you were bidding 25s, you might have. Nice little bounce back there for Microsoft.
Well, I wish I was bidding 25s. I was not. I was taking the mid. I took 50s there on that bounce for Microsoft. It made when I was saying double bottom, it hadn't made a double bottom. I was looking for any double bottom we made, and I think VWAP would be perfectly happy. That was like an Ayn Rand reference, whatever. Like Atlas Shrugged, if you don't know what I'm talking about, like just essentially Microsoft's been carrying like Atlas with the world on his shoulders. And Microsoft's been an absolute beast. If the market is gonna hold this 0.9 or get to 1%, it's probably gonna need Microsoft to hold out this bid. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but that's what I'm looking for here. So if we get to VWAP, I wanna get in, get out. It is a bit of a counter trend trade to be sure. Let me get back over to AMC there. AMC just did another dip, but it just held VWAP there. So AMC just held VWAP on a bit of a dip into 715. So I think if it breaks 715, that gives me a scalp trade out. I feel like you can always make bottom wick on AMC as long as you're willing to hold to the high of the day and for a potential break and hold something through a break. I think you can be okay. As we're going to the desk, oh, it's 10 o'clock. What's happening now?
Some numbers or?
Lots of strength in the market across the board right now. As you can see in the cues here, we are continuing to trend to the high side, up about 1% right now. Generally, lots of strength throughout. We also had the GDP estimate earlier today, so that was a little bit higher than expected. Also of note right now heading into the rest of the day. In terms of stocks that are moving, Foot Locker, we were up about 20%. Now we're at 18%, so it's down slightly, but still very strong after earnings. We also have Okta continuing to trend lower, down about 6% right now after disclosing some more details about the extent of that data breach back in October. Another stock worth mentioning right now, CrowdStrike, continuing to make new 52-week highs with strong volume after earnings. So lots of earnings names to keep on watch right now throughout the rest of the day. Brought to you by Surge Trader, where traders can get a funded trading account up to $1 million and keep up to 90% of the profits. The program has simple rules, no time limits. Just go to surgetrader.com/TTV and use the promo code TTV for 10% off, guys.
Thank you very much, Adair. And thank you very much for the super chats. We're going to get to them. Apologies for missing this one. You know, a lot's happening at the Open. The Ape Fathers, man. Everyone's dressing up for GameStop at SantaCon with the rockets to the upside.
Let's go.
Always having a little bit of fun there. We also had one from Tisha Perkins asking about VVOS. Look, this is one, I mean, Brendan in the pre-market sort of went over VVOS here a little bit. If you're looking for a long potential here on the stock, obviously this is hindsight because it just bounced off 10. Like a stock like this bounces off a 10 level and gives you any kind of like a halt level as well to the upside. I think if it can hold the halt level, depending on your style of trade, if you're risking 15% because you think it takes out the high of the day, then it's like 11.50 to 10. Otherwise, the way I would try to trade it is usually actually off the $10 level. I'd rather be going for the smaller, sort of that smaller move when you're chasing something like this, because you are indeed chasing it. Reverse split, breakout trades like this, I haven't seen one that's held up. They don't hold up very long, so you want to make sure you take your profit and run, and chasing the highs can be very, very, very dangerous. This was a penny stock that reverse split, and it's just a low float special right now.
All right, we have a new position, and Meta is falling like a rock right now. So it's too. I just want to take the shot at 336 here. It looks like it's going to give out right now. So we will take small hit on this one. I wanted to see if we could bounce back upside here. The market is market's falling, but the market was upside right now, and we're only long here at 31. So there it goes. So that's a 30-cent hit. We'll have to slap the fail on that. I thought, thought it was worth it. Doesn't appear to be that on that play. What is worth it though right now is GM. So let's take another piece out at 15 if we can. There it is right now. So we'll go bullish on that one. Wow, good, like saved by the bell. Shout out to Bayside. I mean, the thing is like this. Look at that. Wow. Okay. Good out, dog, on that one. Now we got to deal with Microsoft.
Softy just broke low of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So Microsoft, we are now in Microsoft here as we are breaking down on this name as well. So yeah, man, what goes up must come down, and there goes Microsoft again coming down. So wow, interesting day here so far today. As yeah, the mighty are appearing to fall just a little bit, while GameStop is up nicely in the money. But there, here we go. We're out. There it is, man. We held a small piece, but we are out now of Microsoft, as there it goes, man, right back into 380. So looks like we just should have been holding net short on everything, and unfortunately, we're not short on anything. What's up, Adara?
Hi, just to note too, Microsoft about 17 hours ago, so this would be late yesterday, has announced that they are not going to OpenAI has announced they're not going to offer board seats to Microsoft as of right now. So that is of note. That could be moving Microsoft right now. OpenAI not offering any board seats, guys.
Okay,
Right,
well,
right,
I mean,
that makes more sense.
yeah, you'll see me. Wait a minute, I am not in Microsoft anymore. Okay, I'm not in Microsoft. My last position was at 21. When it broke 81 even, I got out. I'm not holding that all the way to 380 when it's falling like an absolute rock. That should update at some point, but if you come to my chart for a quick little second, there we go. That's 381 breaking, and that's me getting out of Dodge. It is falling like a rock right now. It's giving me some concern. The way this market is pulling back in, I still have AMC. Rivian's checking in just fine. However, yeah, you know what? Go with your gut. My gut's telling me if you're basing out here, if we're going to stair step, I can get back in off an $18 level, or if we're going to break out the high and stair step it to the upside. I'm going to take the money and run on Rivian, as this market is now looking a little bit sick-ish. That's a little bit surprising. I kind of thought we'd make a nice little bounce on Microsoft. I'm looking over at some of the other strong names, like what's holding up. CrowdStrike's holding up 8%. So this is not affecting the cybersecurity names at all. Looks like they should be good to go. What a strong stock holding that breakout. And got to watch out for AMC. I'm long at 20s here, and I just got an ad at that VWAP level. If we can hold on to the higher low, this one can be good to go. It's possible. AMC is the kind of stock you can go without the market because it's a meme stock. But at some point, if this gets really nasty and the market turns red, I could see this coming right back into the downside for us. So I do want to reload somewhere in Rivian, but I just took the profit and ran. And as for Microsoft, if it can hold 380,
yeah, it's
making a bit of a bottom. It's got to get back over 380. But you know what? Go long in strength. I mean, Tesla holding 250 is actually more appealing than trying to catch a bottom on Softy. Like Rivian and Tesla are just stronger. Should stick to those.
Yeah, I don't know if there is going to be a bottom there. I didn't know that story there about the OpenAI, so that's pretty interesting right now. We're 50 cents in the money on GM, and 80 cents in the money on GME. And let's just ring the register on that and say, oh my God, it's a good thing we got back into that, or else today's day would be pretty disastrous, as some of these bottoms that we have caught have not been bottoms. So we'll see where we can go now on everything. But hey, like I said, I still like this GM play. I like GME. GM's been holding. We just got a piece out at 17. Well, that's where we are right now. So nothing to write home about on that one. But so far, so good here as we continue to watch out for some of these names and where they're going, right? So here we go. General Motors up to 20. The high's been 25. The high is 29 on this name. So I'm just going to let I mean, for those of you wondering about what I'm doing for GME, the answer really is nothing now. I'm already out of a lot of this. So it's already made a move. We already got O's twice, basically 1590s twice. So that's what we're doing right now. Barkin is also speaking right now. So that's a problem for sure moving forward. So let's wait to see now. Barkin talking, and Bostic, SPY's moving around. We have to be patient. It's Microsoft right here that got me shook, because 379 breaks, and we have a small piece now at 380. Just wanted to hold it, but we got to get out if this continues to go down, man. The blood is in the water here today.
Yeah, the NASDAQ is just giving it up. Like everything was sailing for the longs early this morning. Like again, 60-minute chart there, but if I pull up my 15, you can see it was looking pretty darn good. You were consolidating off the highs, everything looked fine. Now all of a sudden I'm only in one long as opposed to like 3 or 4 at that open. Maybe we can hold on to 16.1. If you can find some support down there, fair enough. I don't want to be jamming shorts down here because I think when you get a move like this, initially you'll probably have some kind of a bounce. I'd rather find something that can be faded into on weakness. There's strength in the chips at least. AMD's up 2%. Intel's trying to hold the 45 level. Micron had the bad news. Depending on how you look at it with their updated guidance, you could call it good, you could call it bad. The market reacted poorly to it, despite the fact it wasn't all bad. That's showing signs of strength. So strength in the chips, but not in that Mag 7. And that just brings me back over to Apple. We talked about Apple. This is still up and it hasn't broken the low. So out of that, I mean, you saw Meta to the downside, you saw Microsoft to the downside, but just going through and looking for some relative strength, Apple can still hold on to its breakout price. That provides an opportunity. If the market is going to bounce off 16.1, Tesla strong, chips, Intel 45. I like Rivian. It's now at that 18 if it can bounce, and then 191 for Apple would be the other play. Just don't like the shorts down here. And even AMC just went. Yeah, maybe this wants to give it up too. This couldn't hold on to VWAP.
Oh, AMC went down. Okay.
Nothing wants to hold right now. I want to join a bounce. I'm not really looking to jam short at these prices.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I want to do actually right now. The Fed is speaking, so it's going to be, it's going to have to calm itself down just a little bit here, this market. Let's just check out some Coinbase, see what Bitcoin's doing and stuff. I mean, like I said, we're in trades as we speak. You can see them at the bottom. They're just all longs. GameStop is great. GM, we just took some more out there. It's been good, but we have to wait. So, all right, Coinbase, there's the move up again. Remember I said, like, wow, I cannot believe how aggressive this name is. And it just continues to be that way. Now you're starting to fall down. Look at this. So to be in names when Fed is talking is a little dangerous there. Barkin says 5.2% GDP growth is what we're looking at. I don't know. But anyways, here goes Coinbase. So Microsoft, we're long here at you can see where it is, 378, 380, and it's looking dangerous. We're out of the money now, 55 cents. Let's see what's going on right now with Softy. Doesn't look like it wants to go. Every single time it tries, it stops. It's been a bad couple minutes for Softy here, holding these bottoms, and it's been a bad couple minutes for the market. I like what you're talking about there with Tesla. Play strength instead of weakness, and then if there is a bounce, hopefully you'll get a little bit of a greater one in some of those stronger names, which kind of reminds me of the next name, Uber. I was hoping that was going to be down because we missed this 56 the first time. We did have it as a note that we wanted to trade, but we missed that 56 there on Uber. Hopefully, if it does drop down, this is another name that I feel like I'd like to get involved with if the weakness continues. Okay, so Tesla just bounced off 250. I mean, call it relatively strong, but I mean, it only is until it isn't, right? Like it's relatively strong because it hasn't broken the low of the day yet, and it just held on to the 250 level. It wicked down to 249.26 there. You'll see me, I'm into Tesla. I did just reload Rivian off of 18, but almost immediately there's sellers underneath. That offensive did not last very long. I just took half of it out on Tesla because I realized why give anything long when you're catching a falling knife, a wide berth? That's not even a green candle, Neil. I'm talking to myself now. That's not even a green candle. It hasn't even given me the curl just yet. So I took half of it out when it took 250, and I'm going to need to see more strength. I do want to be long Tesla if I'm long anything. And Rivian also as well. Like it's another one in play, but if I'm adding to it, I want to add to it on a little bit more strength on our terms. Almost said GME again. GM is back. It just rejected the high. I want to look for an entry again off that 32 level, back underneath it if I can. But some strength starting to come back into this market. Apple was the other one we're looking for, but it's not showing any signs of strength yet. Still a bit of a falling pattern here on Apple. 16.1's holding for now. Stick to the strong stocks maybe for a lot of those longs. I wish we could have something in CrowdStrike or the Cybersecurity because I don't want to buy anything at highs when we're like this, but like these are the things that are going. It is what it is. CrowdStrike's up 9% into this move to the downside. Boom.
if this had given a dip into VWAP, it's easy to say, but it's not always easy. Sometimes you have to catch some of the falling knives, just try to find a strong-ish name. That's why I'm looking at Tesla and Rivian as we go back to Adara.
Just something to be aware of. Fed's Barkin is speaking right now. I'm saying that he's skeptical that inflation is over and that rate hikes should not be taken off the table. So keep an eye on those comments, guys.
Thanks a lot, Barkin.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Barkin. Keep barking. Okay, so right now, Microsoft, we just took a piece out for flat pretty much there. We got something in the 7 or 75, so loss, sorry. Now we're long at 78s, but it's been a hit, but we did able to buy some back there near that bottom and just took some out for still an L, but it's made its way back upside. Like I said, this name continues to struggle, and then with Fed speak continuing, obviously a very dangerous name here. I'm going to go one more near 90. Let's go Eric Lindros, and then we'll figure out where we're going from there. So that's that. Yeah, I do start my charting at 7 a.m. I mean, I don't, so like I have like, so here's my E signal. That starts at 6 o'clock. I don't really, the levels that are there in the pre-market are important, but I've heard Sharif say this before a couple times. It's like, you really got to understand like where the volume's at and the key levels. And Sharif's mentioned on the midday show, which by the way, join that if you're looking for some more education and things. He looks at the closing print. So, you know, that's something. And I think that if there's earnings or like yesterday with CrowdStrike and then maybe PanW, Zscaler, you know, stocks that are in relationship to other stocks that potentially had news overnight. I think that's important. Like if you're going to trade JP Morgan and you have a plan of action, then maybe try to get as much information as possible. But for me, 7 o'clock, like honestly.
Unless you're trading small caps, like if you're—
That's another thing, yeah, the high volume names.
Yeah, like if you're trading small cap, high volume names, some people, you might even want to have your charts at like 4 a.m. because they get active at that time.
Yeah.
Do you care what Apple does at 4 a.m.? Like unless something, look, I mean, you know, God forbid, like unless something happens that's gigantic, like you know something happens to the CEO, it's ridiculous news overnight, which doesn't usually happen, then you don't care. Some levels are going to matter, but oftentimes from the bigger stocks, who cares? Tesla sometimes will do very good volume in the pre-market, and I like to be able to look at Tesla earlier in the pre-market. I got a bad wick in here, but so I reloaded Tesla when it showed strength again off the 50 level. But once again, it couldn't get past VWAP, and this market's making another leg to the downside. I got a fill in front of VWAP, but that's literally the $0.50. I know it's hard to see, but I got rid of the wick and it just came back. So I'm not going to hold. If Tesla gets underneath like the 75, I think I just get out. This is a very heavy market, and I found myself in like zero shorts right now. Sometimes I like to have something in both directions, but sometimes you just don't find anything, and I'm kicking myself for not finding anything here today. I am back into Rivian. I'm giving it to 1780, well, 17 the 80s. So 1790 is going to be the bottom here for me. You gotta get into something to the south side. And what's weird about it is the short setup that I liked off the open is a relatively strong stock. It's consolidating, GM. It's consolidating under that 32 again and doing the same setup from before when I shorted it. And the reload was no good, but it's starting to break down now. So like last time I wet the beak underneath 80s and then took the fills above 80s for the rest and stopped out above 32. I'm just going for the same setup once again. But this is a relatively strong stock. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, we just bought some more GMs down there as well. So here we go. We got at 75. We'll see if we can take a dime here. I actually just offered 86s. Should have gone the other way on that one. But here we go. Hopefully we can get a nice move up on that. And yeah, I'm with, there we go. We just got 86s there. So that's going to be awesome as GM continues to work. And like we said, sometimes you got to look for those dip buys. But this market, I hate, so again, just some more education. Like I hate being long when we're so much underneath, so far underneath VWAP and the 50-period moving average. But we did bounce off 16.1 there. So that's sort of this little bit of a saving grace, but it doesn't look like that's going to matter too much to some of these tech stocks. The NASDAQ just continues to get rinsed out a little bit here. We just bought some more 25s here on Microsoft, but look, we already got that out at 75, as we mentioned, and it's going to break 379, and then I'm just going to make sure that I do have my order out, which I do. So on a break, we're out. We tried it. We tried to bounce back, and there it goes right now. Slap a fail, slap a flush on all of that. Because the market just continues to make lower moves here. So yeah, not a great look for sure for that trade. So yeah, not happy about it, but is what it is. Microsoft just breaks through 379. And now that I see it like trying to bounce back, I'm like, oh, do I get longer again right now? I don't know. I think we got to wait for some shorts to come in.
Yeah, okay, this is a weird thing to say because I just found something that looks strong. Again, Las Vegas Sands, if you're not following the news, majority shareholders are selling their stake in Las Vegas Sands so they can purchase the Dallas Mavericks. Why was I struggling to find Dallas Mavericks? Anyways, no, I didn't want to say Cowboys. I wanted to say Dallas Mavericks, Sharif. But this is down 3.5%, and it is very strong. Again, it's a one-time sale for a purchase. At the end of the day, once it's done, you would think it would go back to what it was doing before, which was bouncing off support. So let me go the other way here on the daily chart. It already bounced off a low here, 45, and now it's trying to stair-step it to the upside. So it's setting up for a bounce play as the market is resisting bounces at this particular moment. But you know what? Rivian, that just came out. It was a good... Like things that were good early breaks, like usually it's that stair step to the upside, which has worked on trend days. Like we saw it work the other day on Shopify and it worked on Affirm. Today is obviously a bit different. So the breakout on Rivian, I reload it, just took it out. It doesn't want to hold. Tesla, similar thing. I just had the bounce. I'll use my 15-minute because my 3, the wick looks nasty, but it just got up to the $0.50. It's trying to hold on to 250. I'm long in front of the 250 level. I'm going to give it about 40 to 50 pennies down here. And this market seems like it's a little bit sick. I want to make sure that we're only buying strength if we can. That's why I just went over to this Las Vegas Sands. If it can hold 46 and start to show a bounce there, that gives me an entry into the long. As far as shorts go, weak names Meta, that's one of them. There hasn't been, look at this, it's all red on the 15-minute. So we've basically just only fallen one good consolidation in the last little bit, and it's about to break the bottom again. 335 looks like your entry point, at least where you're wrong. Like I'm wrong at 335. Tesla just came out as well, so we're able to get half out for a win, and then it just took out the bottom. That's how it's been. Ring the register when you get a chance to don't look a gift horse in the mouth because the longs have been wrong today. It's time to find something else to the south side.
Yeah. No, just looking, man, it's I mean, what are we even green on?
Wish I saw that in Microsoft story, but anyways, it is what it is. It's hindsight.
Yep, like the only name I'm green on right now is GM, and we've only traded 4 names, but yeah, only green name General Motors right there today. Softy is what it is. Softy we can get going, man, for sure. I mean, we're long Softy, but we just took a hit there. It's trying to go back up to the upside. Let's see. I don't think it's going to hold. It just did hold 379, and we got a little piece out there, but doesn't look really great. GameStop, again, I mean, we told you that we were almost out of GameStop, so that's a good one. We were able to make back what we lost initially on GameStop. And if I don't have that first GameStop trade, I would be positive, but I do have it, so nothing I could do right now. And I'm here to tell you guys, negative on the day. I can't be positive with one green stock. So it's
possible.
It's possible, but not for me. So that's what that is. We're having a great month. Everything's fine, but today is going to be a negative day. I think we have 5 or 6 of them on the month, and that's...
The only reason I say it's possible is because every trading style is going to be different.
Yeah.
I've seen traders before that, just imagine you're trading small cap gappers. You just need one. You only need one. It depends on your style. And I'll tell you flat out, if Rivian bounced, it didn't, but Rivian was enough to carry 4 or 5 losers, my style, because I'll take a really small hit oftentimes, and all I need is a second trade to work on Rivian, and then we'd be okay. But it didn't. We're stopping out on Rivian. I think it can still be a long if we can hold 16.1, if buyers can come into this market. But when have you seen the buyers come in just yet? They haven't. But as I said, this is still holding its breakout price. So as far as setups go, let me show you the 15-minute. If we're trading off a breakout at 1780, there we go. If you're trading a breakout of 1780 for this gap fill, it's still available because it just held that 1780 level. So I'm going to get back into it. I want to make sure, my reasoning for liking the long still is you are above previous resistance. And as long as you're above previous resistance, the setup to me still remains a long. I just have to temper my expectations as to how far it can go. I'll scalp it. I'd scalp something to 18. I'd scalp something to 1830, which is the current high of the day. But now I want to go back to that 80 level. And back to the basics, essentially, is the way to think about it. Back to the basics on that 80 level.
Okay, we just got long in Tesla here at 251.20, so that's really bounced off the bottom here. And we have small crapper, did you say? All right, let's go over to small cap recap right now with your girl, Miss A.
ICU, this one has run before, continuing to run again, up about 16.5%. No news on this one right now, but C-Star Medical ICU on the move. We also have BMEA, Biomea, a fusion. This one on Monday announced the acceptance of 3 abstracts for one of its inhibitors. So keep an eye on this one, biotech related stock. Last but not least, we have Red Hills. This one is running for 3 days straight, now heading a little bit to the downside, but still positive on the day. We did have some FDA related news with this one getting a grant until 2034. That was on Monday. Keep an eye on all these names, guys.
So just one note here. I know we're gonna have a crypto segment in a minute, but Bitcoin just broke its support level and is trying to reclaim it right here. This is a 15-minute. I don't know what that is. This is a 15-minute chart, and you have this 337.7 level here, and this is on TradingView BTC. If you get back above it, you could have a bit of a relief rally. But I just noticed that low breaking when I looked at Coinbase. Coinbase is flat and holding in this pocket here, which is at least a little bit interesting. You would think on a pullback day, Coinbase on that move would be breaking lows, but it's not. It's actually consolidating higher. So Coinbase, I think it's got room to play some catch up here, especially to the downside. I look at VWAP, and usually VWAP is an area, not a price level you want to trade off of for Coinbase. Above fills give you an out of like 128.80. So you'd almost want to, if you're fading this thinking Bitcoin is going to continue to go to the downside, then I think you want fills above VWAP with an out here as opposed to just getting wicked a million times through VWAP. But Rivian just came out there again. That's going to suck. I still only have the one short trade, and it's the first one that I was in. And as we get down into the 60s, last time this is where we took first fill on GM. It just got back down there. I just moved my bid to 66, see if I can grab that. And then I'll have another bid at 50 even, and then see if that can continue to fall. But this market is still sick, and 16.1's about to go to the downside here.
All right. Yeah, that 16.1 failing is...
no bueno.
There's no bueno.
It's not over yet. It's at 99.
No.
A futures level isn't gone until you're like 20 handles underneath it for sure. Like that's, like one handle underneath doesn't mean anything.
No.
Yet.
Here comes GM back in. Okay. Oh, why? I went over to GM and my chart's still on Tesla. Okay, we're in the money on Tesla, but we'll wait for it. I was going to give this to 249, honestly. So we want to get some more shares. If Tesla can fall down, great. I don't even have any bids out or any offers out, sorry, to get out of it. So we'll see if that can work. GM, we just talked about it. We just got longer on GM. So now that it's now that it's going up, we will take some pieces out as we just got a 70 fill or whatever that was. What was that? 70? Yeah, 70s. It just went to 79. We probably should have taken some out of that, but we did not. So let's just continue with it. That is going to be GM. So hopefully we get some nice bids there. And then honestly, guys, just for the Tesla, if we just break this top, potentially, this is a name that we really like for the long today, for sure. Let's just wait for it. Obviously, Microsoft is back above 379. So and dip buy opportunities here have been here for Microsoft as well, but it's broken and I just didn't want to hold it. So every time it broke, we got out. So kind of small paper cuts there, but still cuts regardless. And here we go. Here goes Tesla. It was just up 40 cents. Let's see if it can continue to go. Maybe we've seen a temporary bottom on some of these names. Meta also trying to get a little bit off that bottom now too. Of 333. So there's that as well. AMD 124.50 could have been a good long. I just don't know if we want the longs.
124.50. That's got to be close to the high. 125 is a resistance on AMD.
Yeah, 124 is the low. 124.50 is the low. Wait a minute. Right there for AMD. I mean, it opened up at 123.50, but right here, it's holding out nicely. So
wow.
AMD up 2.5% right now as we continue to go. And there it goes, man. Let's go. Although we have a disastrous couple trades here today, like I said, we'll see if we can go pause it. See if we can go 2 for 4 now, right? And that's still in the pocket for us. So here we go. Let's go to the upside now. GM. Okay, so that broke. That got as high as 251.60. Let's put an offer at 252 on Tesla, man. Greed is good, but I'm not sure that's true here.
The longs, it's hard to be greedy on the longs today. generally speaking, you want to let your winners try to ride. Apple just made a nice stair step to the upside. Insert Broncos joke right away, although they have not been as big of a joke as they were.
I think they have the same amount of wins. I won't.
No, I was about to say, I'm like, a Buffalo Bills fan cannot be talking trash about the Denver Broncos. Let's be real, because I think we're pretty much neck and neck, although our team's better. Right? It is what it is, just not playing well. If we can get to VWAP here, that'd be great. I'm talking about Apple. There we go. So Apple made a bit of a bid here. It's a wide consolidation. It's not really a consolidation candle. It's a wide bounce, but it's also off the pre-market breakout high. So it was a consolidation down here. You broke out at 190.60. You then held 190.60. When it broke the top of the channel, I got in. I want to give it into the bottom end of it. If you're looking at AMD, the reason I said 125 is just because of my 15-minute. Like, I knew that we had a recent high off here. That's strong. That's strength off this 120. It's 124.75, but that's a nice stair step up for AMD. So this could be another name you look to for a potential long off this 16.1, which is holding as we speak. So AMD, I like you. I want to look back over at Intel to see if it's not really holding 45 even. It is holding previous highs. So going back into this one, you're working off of this previous high at 1465, 1470 area. So you want it down, I'd want it down in the 80s if I'm getting involved in Intel once again.
I just saw somebody talking. Oh, by the way, first of all, like, let's go, man. Honestly, like, what a good stock.
Another one.
But it was only one, really. So GM right there. Beautiful stock, beautiful dip buy opportunities. And we did it, guys. We did it. We got a winner on right now with General Motors. It's Adara again. And it's crypto. And it's 20 seconds early.
SoFi, we mentioned this one a bit earlier too, but also related to crypto, and that SoFi is exiting the crypto game, working with blockchain. So now customers can move their digital assets to blockchain. This is just amid banking regulation scrutiny. SoFi exiting crypto. We also have interesting news. Cristiano Ronaldo facing a $1 billion lawsuit regarding his ads from Binance. The plaintiffs basically claiming that they were interested because he backed the company. So that is something to keep an eye on as well. $1 billion lawsuit related to Binance for Cristiano Ronaldo. In terms of Bitcoin itself, we're very much still topping and turning around that $38,000 level that we've kind of been seeing the last couple days. Up about 1%, just below that $38,000, about $37,750 right now. Ethereum a bit lower on the day, just above that $2,000 area. Everything else a little bit mixed, but Solana worth noting, up almost 8% on the day, guys.
I just wanted to say, like, we were just talking a little bit there about SoFi. Thanks, Adara, for that. And yeah, so last week I was sitting here and I told you guys I bought SoFi, added to my SoFi position in the long-term account at 668. So it's beautiful right now as we're almost $1 in the money on a 660 purchase. We did not expect, like, I didn't buy it for any reason other than the fact that I felt like it was down near this area, you know? So yeah, it was good. I mean, I like Palantir. I think there's a chance here. So yeah, we bought it just based on this. You know, just based on this low, so it's a nice move up. So if I'm buying based on this, if I can get long, which I am long now at 660, I just mentioned that. If we can get out, so if I'm going to buy on sort of support, then what about resistance? So I think up here, like, if you can ever get to 860, I mean, we'll take $2 on 6, that'd be 35%. So that would be good if we can get out right there. But counting our chickens before they hatch, still real early days here on SoFi. So, by the way, GameStop is now below 15 again. We just got to 1480 on GME. I'm going to buy a little bit more here.
So like Apple is consolidating. It's 16.1 is holding. I said 19 because Apple's 190. But this looks like a good area. Once there's a seller at 95, once it clears that, I want to add to this one. I'm still giving it to the same bottom, but I want to see signs of strength. They just cleared that, but there's no one buying above it. Once someone takes out the next level, I'm just going to punch in 91s. It's at 96. Whatever. I'm going to get 97s there because it doesn't break the higher. So I'm now in. We already had this one, but I think we can get to VWAP in there.
Wow.
And if the market's going to bounce nicely off this 16.1, I think we have a good chance over there in Apple. Double checks what's going on with AMD. Because yeah, this is looking like a strong one. This is a good one. By the way, Marvell is reporting Should be checking out that one tomorrow. They're the last of them. But AMD and the chip names, while downward trending, they are showing signs of relative strength. You're getting a bit of higher lows and lower highs into a wedge. If the trend is up, you follow it to the upside, in my opinion.
All right. Yeah, the long softy is now working, of course, as it's bounced up a little bit right here on Microsoft. It's funny because I went into Tesla, which is now weak, and I'm out of Microsoft, which is now strong. But that was a good one right there. That was
another one
on Tesla, on GameStop, because I just told you I literally just punched 15s and just got a bunch out there at 22s and 25s. So that's a good trade there, just scalping back and forth. Still want to be able to hold this one because it was all a dream. And this one has a good possibility of going, I believe. All right, so GM again, let's just go again. Let's hit the sirens. GM's been a great stock. We just got some more out again up here near 32. It's right here right now. I think I got this price or 96, doesn't matter. And again, look at the reloads as we hit another emoticon here. Again, good trade, man. Back down to the 200 period. When I'm saying good trade, it's not like, okay, good trade that we made it. It's just like this is a good opportunity to trade. There's so many opportunities that I miss all the time. Honestly, Microsoft. We're out of it, but this was probably a good trade down here to hold it a little bit longer, right? We didn't let it go 30 cents against us, and we could have, because we were stuck a little bit ahead of 379. So again, to stay in your sort of realm here, like I said, we're lifting the trophy up on Softy, but haven't been that today. So down on Microsoft here today. We'll wait to see if it can continue to go. And there's GameStop again. I would love for this name to go, for sure, but we're going to scalp it out. When we buy it and it does this, we're going to get it out. It's underneath the 200 period. This is going to be a little bit of a different theory for me because it's one of those meme stocks that we've talked about. So it can really go just because, but you got to respect some of these bottoms. So if we break this day low, I'm out. 1470, we just took 25 cents. We'll hold this 125 cents. So 1470, day low break. We got out right there. Obviously a mistake, but it did go lower. So let's wait to see. Made it back. GameStop still a tricky stock for me here today.
I think that's all. It's a lot of times those memers can be, they can be tricky. It's tricky when it's not working, but when it works, the idea is that it's simple when it works. Because they just float higher, and you're looking for that outsized gain. I was just told to look at Plug Power, and anything that's showing relative strength is probably worth a look here today. Position board's gone. I'm still in Apple, just Apple and GM, same two positions. But Plug Power, VWAP holder. I like VWAP holds, but the problem is longs haven't been that good. The difference is this stock doesn't always care what the market is doing. Squeeze potential always on Plug. If you look at the gap levels, 465 and then 550 to the upside. 465 is 10% away. So if this consolidation breaks higher, when you've got let me just double check. I need to know what the short float is, which I didn't go over the stock in the morning, so I don't know this off the top of my head. 26% short float when it's trying to stair step to the upside like this. That's something you can potentially join. If the market's going to continue to be weak, then sometimes you got to look for the squeeze-ish type names to look for some longs. Plug Power at least would give you that because there hasn't been much for the longs otherwise. We just broke back down to 161. Looks like Apple probably breaks this consolidation down. Sorry about the wicks. The 3-minute should be fine. There you go. I'm in. It looked like it was breaking out. There's the hammer. If we don't hold on to this low, then I don't hold on to Apple. That's a break long here for it to hold that, get some out in front of VWAP, then hold to the high of the day. That's the premise of the trade. Once it breaks it, then I'm out. And Tesla 250 just came back in. So I'm back into Tesla on the dip. The last time, if I'd taken it all out of VWAP, it would have worked, but I actually thought it was doing better than that. And it was not. Nope. So this time, if it gets to VWAP, I probably still want to get something out there. If it can hold the bottom, Tesla's still holding support, but that's now a lower high that just got put in for Tesla as well. It's wild. We're still battling that 16.1 level. We haven't broken it by more than 15 handles. So it's still within the pocket of a potential bounce play in the future.
All right, we're still going long here. So we are long Tesla. We're long at 71s, obviously. Let's go Tesla. If this can get going, man, this will make our day. That's 51. We can get something out. I mean, I don't want to just take 30 cents on Tesla, obviously, but if we can, we will take a little piece of it out if it goes up. But we are hoping for more. That's 251.50. I'm just putting these orders out there because, you don't know when and if you're ever going to get filled. 251.40 will go in front of it. This is what I think. And then I want to, obviously, if I'm going for $1.50 from here, we have to be able to hold it that far against us. So here comes 249.50 for Tesla. That's, a very dangerous spot. We got as low this morning as 247.50-ish, right? So 247.75 if you're counting pennies here. So watch out for that potential bottom. If it breaks through 249, we will wind up getting out of that one. So let's be patient with it. It's Tesla. Let's just see where we go. Again, I like it, but it's the NASDAQ was up 0.7 or 0.8. And I think when we even got up here, we might have been close to 1%. Now you're really starting to fade out on everything. So there's the ES again coming back in. So everything on the down low right now. And it seems like some of these stocks, I don't think it's a time to reload anything in your long-term portfolio. I don't think we're in that kind of a panic area. But I do like NVIDIA on dips now. So I just feel that quarter is now through us. So this is probably the only name. I mean, I might buy some other names, but definitely on dips, want to get longer on NVIDIA. And I was just honestly I could buy the Qs as well, but the thing is I already own Microsoft, Google. They're my largest holdings. So NVIDIA right now, do you know the percentage of the NASDAQ, Neil, for NVIDIA?
Off the top of my head, no. But I can tell you, I've been buying the Qs this year in lieu of adding to some of those other stocks. I dollar cost. Actually, I stopped dollar cost averaging into the Qs a month and a half ago. But every single month I was buying Qs up until a month and a half ago.
It's 4%. So it can get going there as well. I think it can eventually be a little bit of a higher percentage spot than that. So
I can see that.
Yeah, so we'll be buying some NVIDIA on dips, right? I mean, the percentages that all of us are probably long, the thing about NVIDIA is it was down 70% during COVID, and then now we're up 230%. Its forward PE is still relatively cheap, so I do want to buy, relatively, I do want to buy this name, but I'm not ready to do that until 475-ish. But, all right, you want to say anything before we go to
the last thing, the only thing that I see making higher lows right now that was on my list for looking for dip buys is Las Vegas Sands. So I just got into that one off of VWAP. Tesla is challenging that local bottom, which will take me out for sure. We're going to get stopped out if it takes out that local low, and it feels like, there we go, it just took it out. So out of Tesla, went for the consolidation buy. Again, taking the paper cuts on what I think is a relatively strong name, but at some point it is not relatively strong if it's making lower highs. Higher lows on Las Vegas Sands, so if it sets up, go for it. It just made the higher low off the 46 level. That's what we're waiting for. And now if we can get back to the high of the day, at least this isn't falling all over itself as we go to the screen for our sector watch.
Definitely some areas of strength to keep an eye on, including a lot of the aspects of the electronic technology sector. Mostly those chips are really strong. NVIDIA, AMD both up today. Keep an eye on those names. You also have a lot of strength in the finance area amidst hopes of rate cuts, so there's definitely one to keep an eye on as well. Health technology also pretty strong with the exception of Eli Lilly, and lots of strength in consumer durables led by Tesla ahead of that Cybertruck launch tomorrow. Producer manufacturing strong as well. Keep an eye on energy minerals. We did just get the crude oil inventories and they were a little bit higher than expected, so keep an eye on that sector. Also worth noting, technology services, lots of weakness mostly in the mega cap names here, but some of the smaller names in that sector are worth keeping an eye on to the high side, guys.
Like you see that board and where the consolidation, you know what I mean, where the red is consolidated in that top left, it definitely stands out. Look, if we're, Tesla just broke to the downside. Apple is threatening to break that downside here. Whoops, why is that still, there we go. Threatening to break that downside. I'm not gonna move the stop or anything. Probably a chance on that last little push up there. That's a lot of dark pool fills. If it had really been holding, I'd probably take something out there in the 191 range just to get some pressure off. So we're just in Las Vegas Sands at this moment and Apple, and that's not going to last very long. I just want to go back on over to Affirm. We haven't talked about Affirm today, but this, if the market's going to completely capitulate, I mean, the stock just went on a huge run to the upside. Crypto's bouncing, by the way, so I don't want to be messing around with Coinbase to the south side if crypto's bouncing. But Affirm is stair-stepping it to the downside, so this might provide at least some kind of an opportunity for a fade play. Underneath VWAP and consolidating underneath VWAP, I like it to the 34. So it's at 33 and a half. If this can pop into VWAP or give any kind of indication, I'd short off that level. Otherwise, it's the next consolidation short down. There is $1 plus of room till you get to the pre-market low here. So joining it in one of these 50-cent ranges makes some sense to me on Affirm. And just mostly because of how far it's up in the last, like literally 2 sessions.
I can't believe how much Tesla is falling here. It's down into 248. I want to try it against that bottom of 247 again. So we're going to try to hold this one more time. This is being stubborn, but we're not even down that much on it. It's just, it's frustrating because it hasn't held at all. It hasn't done anything except for go down in the last 10 minutes. Like there's not even a relief rally at all in Tesla. So we'll see if we can get one at some point as we just, maybe just got a little bit of a bounce there. How low did we get there? We got to, my best fill is only right here right now. So it's not like it's, we got advantage of that, but we have a decent amount of shares now. So we'll see if it can get back up to the upside. It would be nice if it does, but again, this is Tesla. Maybe it's found a bottom, but again, ahead of the Cybertruck. That's really why we want to do it. We want to trade names that have catalysts. And I thought it was relatively strong. It still is, but definitely off this move, it's not looking relatively strong now, is it? As we get back, we're almost flat on the trade now. Oh, man. Let me take a piece out if we can now as we get a little bit back to flat on this. And then we're waiting up in the 90s for another piece. So, go. Did we just get that? Yes, we did. Okay, so we got a 51. Now we'll see if Tesla can make it sing back up to the upside. And I never, kind of like hallelujah, we have this name, and that is GameStop, because like this is the name. It's GameStop and it's GM right now that is sort of holding us upside now as we've gotten a great reload there at 15. We got another reload at 15 as well. And we're just kind of taking out that profit out of those names as we see fit. So hopefully that will continue. Also, GM is basically back up here again. So, I mean, GM, let's go, man. We like GM. It's been a really good name here on the day. So let's just continue to watch out for it. General Motors looks like it wants to get back up to the upside here as we lose, we lose money on Tesla, make money on GM. What is this, bizarro world?
Well, that makes sense. I think, GM and Tesla, they have something in common, but they have a lot not in common. That's the nice way to put it. I'm just trying to be nice about that, not to say GM's a piece of you-know-what, but it is. As a company, the chart's bad. The company has been under pressure for some time. It's comparing it to Tesla. They both make EVs. That's it. I was just asking the chat about Roku, because I put in the chat, Roku was another name that was crazy high flyer like Affirm. And if the market does want to make another leg lower, then Roku would be a prime example of something that can give you a room to at least fade here. So it's at VWAP. So the setup would be you're stair-stepping to the downside. You can kind of see a trend line from pre-market highs and more importantly, opening range highs. So VWAP entries above VWAP to 107.5, right? So when you're at VWAP and hugging it, I don't like stops at VWAP. I always want to be taking fills above VWAP into the top if you're looking for a fade play. So I'm going to get on the offer above 107. I'm going to show you Affirm and why not Affirm. Well, Affirm already, it dropped the next leg down. So instead of looking for the fills above VWAP, now I'm looking for them at VWAP as it makes another stair step to the downside. So that's something that if the market does consolidate here and drop lower, I have a couple of things that give you good risk to reward because they could fall really big into some of these lows, and they still provide you with an opportunity to have a nice out there. So a little bit of a different setup, one looking for fills into VWAP, the other one looking for them above VWAP. And I want to go back and shout out to Akiko Studio in there. So now all of a sudden, and I backed away from Microsoft until it found some support. It is now, there's a bounce off 37, the bottom is 37.68, but 39 essentially has been made a bit of a higher low there. So it's showing some signs of strength. One bounce was good, the second was out almost instantly when it broke that 31 level. Now I'm looking for this high low. This is a consolidation pattern here. And with that consolidation, look for a long off a higher low into the low of the day, which sits just about 378.70. So underneath that, you can go to the halves, you can go to the 60 level. I like a stop not at the actual low of the day, but generally speaking, a little bit underneath, just so it can't wick me out.
We talked about there being VVOS just keeps on halting, by the way, VVOS, so maybe I can look at that at some point. But I was just going to say, there goes Tesla breaking through 247.50, the low of the day, as it continues to go. But again, this is where, and I have GME. Oh, first of all, here's Tesla right now. I'm holding a small piece, but just because I don't believe it, but whatever. It's whether I believe it or not, it's taking my money today. This is why it's like you got to have many different tools in your box, right? Like I am not generally this GME type of trader, but today, just since it's settled down, obviously we took that hit early. We talked about that, but just waiting for it and being patient now seems to have been, you know, temporarily anyways, the right play. So we'll wait to see where it's going from here. And then even GM, like I was just kind of joking. No, I wasn't joking because it's the truth. Like we didn't have GM on the sticky note until today. Like I don't remember the last time we did it. And then right there, GM is the #1 stock traded here on the show today. So good, you know, like that's part of it. It's about having your plan. And sometimes your plan fails, man. We had that GME breaking through the high of 16. That didn't work. It worked, but then it fell down through, and then we were able to pick up some bottoms. And just like Tesla, I wrote down 244. I don't feel like I'm getting away from my plan here because we like Tesla long. It's just so far not so good on the Tesla long. But the prices, we were never getting to 244 today. Well, we would have early, but then we stopped and then made this move. And then you sort of rethink about some of the levels as here we go right now. Of course, now we go back up to the upside, which is fine. We still got a piece on for this as it continues. But yeah, a little bit of a tricky day here today, but it's fine. These days happen. Like I said, you're going to have some red days.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of trying to limit them. You know, like it's... You obviously want to limit them, but also limit like the size of your loss relative to your win, like that kind of stuff. Like adhere to your stop levels, blah, blah, blah. You know what it's all about. As long as you have an out, just try to adhere to it. If you see another setup, then you can jump back into that next setup. There's always another trade to be made. Just got an error on my script from Microsoft. Oh, that's why I had another one out there. Okay, so yeah, I just had to, if you have to, if you're trading a day trade the world, if you use that 100% out or 50% out script stop, make sure you don't have old ones in there before you put the new one in. Otherwise, you'll hit enter and realize you're not covered on the trade. Right. So I made sure that you can put my stop in before it gets to the bottom. I like to do that and then want to work into the long just to make sure I'm covered. You're getting a little bit of a bounce and you're starting to hold 379 here, so I just got back in. LVS is holding at 46 at least for now. We're going to go back to Adara for money talks, but before we do that, just one last thing because I do want to get to it. Like today is not, I'm looking short 32 with tight stops on GM. Unless I entered and took it all out on the first move, not going to be green on the stock. Not with the way that I'm looking for a retracement play. I'm thinking it's getting to 31 and filling gap back into the downside. But limiting the losses should be the way to go, right? So limiting those losses on the way in. You can only fight the market for so long, but you can also only avoid going to the desk with Adara for so long.
Just a heads up as well, NVIDIA CEO currently speaking in New York. So if you're in NVIDIA or interested in NVIDIA, keep an eye on that. In terms of the USD, there's actually a little bit of strength. We are heading a little bit to the upside today. We did have we did have an increase in the GDP estimate. So that is something of note. We also had comments from Fed Barkin basically saying that he is skeptical that inflation is necessarily over, that further rate hikes are not necessary. So that's of note because it's a little bit different than what we've been hearing from some of the other Fed speakers. That will be something to keep an eye on. Also worth keeping an eye on as we go into the next rest of this week is we do have PCE tomorrow, so that could have an impact on the USD as well. Basically lots of economic data and economic factors playing a role into what the DXY is doing, guys.
All right.
Thank you very much there, Dara. The Dixie, as some people like to call it. So Microsoft, we just got into it, and that's starting to make a nice little bounce. Obviously, if you know my style of trade, take some out at resistance. If it breaks resistance, shoot VWAP. So if we get to VWAP, fantastic. We'll be all over it. Apple starting to make a bit of a bounce play. I said before, if it gets back into that 191, I'm taking some out and then looking to shoot VWAP as well for a bit of a bounce play on Apple. So those two are starting to work. I just got into, like Roku just made this spike. wait for the fill above VWAP, and then out if it breaks that local high. It's 107.38, it's a local top. I like to give it to 50 in a situation like that. You can have your stop at exactly 38 if you like. I tend to not want to have stop sometimes at a random line. I'll use the level in front of it. So I am into Roku here. We'll see where it goes, but this market just regained 16.1. If the longs don't work now, I don't want to say they're not going to work, but they're unlikely to work is the best way to think about it.
Coin ripping, eh? Okay. Right now, Tesla's in the money $1, but like honestly, we got out on that 249, 248 break. So we're still in it, but not enough to make back the loss yet on that name. And I just did double check. 5 red days this month. So this could be the 6th. I mean, join me tonight and we'll see what happens. VVOS right now, Vivos Therapeutics. Here it is, man, halted at $16. So, you know, again, in what's been an insane move. I don't even know the news here, but doesn't matter anyways. There it is. It's a huge move back up to the upside. I'm assuming that this one's probably reverse split news. As VVOS here, here's an actual chart that will show you its value against the reverse split. So it just took out this 14. So that was a pretty good level here. The stock's name is just Vivos Therapeutics. So taking it out, I guess 20 as we go on this one. There goes, I mean, Tesla's going back up to the upside. So thank God we're at least holding some of that one as we go. But there it goes, VVOS. And then just to double check it, I'm going to do everyone's favorite segment. Of Dara's done a great job so far. But we do have What's for Lunch coming in 2 seconds. Right there. So the short float on Vivos, we have a new winner. 228% short.
That's
right now. So that's right there, 228%. I assume there's a mistake there because of the reverse split,
Volkswagen styles.
Yeah, who knows? So we'll see where that one's going right now. The volume is a paltry 75,000% more than normal. And there we go. Good move back up on this one. It's too bad we have that mark, but we didn't get out of it all. Like, we'd be $1 in the money on this trade. We're making it back, yada, yada, yada. But here we go right now. All right, let's make this short and sweet. Yesterday was chicken. The day before was chicken. Today, once again, guys, if you guessed chicken, then you are a chicken dinner winner. One more time, man. Chicken on sale in the lovely country of Canada, and more importantly, the GTA. We have citrus and herb grilled chicken with, this is probably good, Moroccan couscous salad. So we'll be downing the couscous salad. We had tuna on ours yesterday, so that was great. We're in a great mood today. That sounds like it's going to be good. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy your lunch. That's what it is here today, citrus and herb grilled chicken. I'm again hoping for tuna on the salad, but I will take egg salad as a protein topper today. Or, you know, slices of chicken aren't bad either.
Well, there was one day where everybody on the salad lunch got tuna, and I got the chicken salad. So sometimes they'll do that. I just tried to check Float Checker to see what they say about the short float on VVOS, but I can't get into Float Checker. I don't know what's going on with the website. So maybe I'm not going to make a denial service joke. That site, sometimes that site's given issues. So let me just get that out of the way. Like it's probably nothing on Float Checker, but I always want to see another source because 229%. I mean, obviously, there's things called naked shorts and all that kind of good stuff, but I want to see what's going on with that. Obviously, a good catalyst to the upside if it's 40% or 50%. So we are breaking higher. The futures are going. I want to look at VWAP here for Softy. We just mentioned that. Apple is starting to make its move. It's back above 191. Needs to get into VWAP. Got an order in front of 20. Got an order in front of 30. VWAP sits at 191.33 as you're starting to fly upside, but you had to weather the storm in terms of some pain here to be able to get to this point. Roku, I shorted into the VWAP move. My stop's at 107.50, so I'm risking about 35 cents. Unless it gets underneath VWAP, I'm not taking anything out. I want it out underneath VWAP. It's either a break back to the upside in which I'm out, or it's getting back underneath VWAP. We've been going long pretty much all morning. This is the time that it has to pay off. But just a reminder about the futures here. 160, all we've really done is rally 100 points off the 16.1 level and then now bounce off the 16.1 level. Well, halfway is to 16.150. So very scientifically, I'm expecting you might find a little bit of resistance at 16.5. And if I haven't gotten some fills at VWAP, I might take a few if we get to that level without getting filled in Apple and Softy.
All right, let's go, man. GameStop, nice little win there with only a couple minutes left. We also do have Tesla right now. We just took a piece out for $1.20. We're gonna. Now I don't have any more offers. I wanted to take something out. We broke higher. We got into this level. I mean, you're still underneath. I still think that we get 251s on Tesla. So I'm just gonna wait for that now. Already feel a little silly dumping it, but at least we held 25%. Wish it was 50, but let's just wait to see where we go. We still know, what we're all about, and I like that trade. So let's stick with it. More outs, of course, as the money just keeps pouring in right now off of GameStop. It wasn't pouring in early, but there it is. Nice little move back upside for GameStop. We just took a 43 out, and GM continues to cook, man. So Microsoft off the bottom. There was a good one, 379 and change. So we had that a couple times. I know Neil has it right now, so that's good. And then Meta as well. We were long all the way up here. So this is the one that really, has been the worst, I feel like, as far as a recovery. So Meta could still be another one. VVOS also just resuming now. It just hit 1662 there for the high as VVOS now falling back down. So watch your P's and Q's on this one. VVOS is wild.
Not just that, watch your P's and Q's on RDHL as well. That thing just halted again. Yeah. So, but this is, look, another reverse split special. I don't know what to tell you, but these, we say this over and over again. It's 10:59. We're gonna get your education on in a second. But when you're trading these kinds of stocks, they always fall back in. So not always, almost always fall back in and do so in rapid fashion. So we just had this thing halt to the upside after a long consolidation. Obviously, $3 and $2.50 have turned into support levels, but just note if it breaks out these highs, watch out for that $5 level. Try not to get trapped at the highs going in long on some of these reverse split special trades. It's just a dangerous game. You get the move, take your money and run. Even people that trade YOLO trades have outs and have a strategy, right? If that's your strategy, taking profit before it goes completely parabolic is usually pretty good. I said if we started finding resistance on the futures, I'd get some out on Apple in front of VWAP without getting my fill. I did so at the local high at 190, 110. It just turned around one more time. So you take what you can get. If we can't get to VWAP today on a 16.1 bounce or off Apple bouncing, Microsoft bouncing, then it's just one of those types of days. And you take what you can get out of this market, which has been a short since that early run that we just saw. But you know what time it is. That's the professor down there. That is Adara. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. But right on now, you're going to get your... Is it still donkey and chains you're talking about this week? No? No donkey in chains. I didn't say that enough yesterday, so I'm just going to say it a couple of times here as you guys get your education on with the professor in a day.
Peace.
Very upbeat introduction.
Yeah, I was like dancing to like the school bell ringing.
Right?
Having a good time over here.
What